Disclaimer, this is my thoughts, commentary, opinion, for entertainment, sometimes educational purposes only. It's all just talking here. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, and I definitely have strong opinions. That doesn't mean I think I'm always right or that like everybody has to share the same opinions. But I saw this story going around a lot today, and it reminded me of some things that I went through when I was furloughed from my full-time job. I don't work at now. I'm stay-at-home mom again. But there was a TikToker, Nicolie. I might be saying that wrong. You spell it Nikalie. And hey, Bertha, how are you doing tonight? I'm talking about this TikToker that I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's like a semi-viral story where she's calling churches, asking them if they will help her feed her baby. And it's really interesting. I don't know if she's based in Kentucky, but it seemed like she at least started in the central Kentucky area. She has like a Lexington phone number. And yeah, I'm gonna wait and little bit slower here. The last few lives I've had, actually, the last live I had got some decent views, and I want to redo that one because I felt really bad. I'll explain it later. But anyways, there was a TikToker who's calling churches asking if they will help her feed her baby, and she has the same script. Like, she says, my baby ran out of formula last night and she hasn't had any. Sometimes she has this baby like crying in the background. It's a recording. And I don't think anybody is going to be really surprised to hear the outcome. Although, okay, this is one thing. I don't have TikTok. I could download the app and like just look through her videos myself. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are. I've heard different numbers. Like, one person said 2 out of 32 churches she called agreed to help, and then one person said 9 out of 49. Those were the only 2 people that had any numbers at all, and I'm sorry. I should do better when I make videos like this. Like, I do have a TikTok account, I just don't have the app. My phone is out of, space right now, but regardless, whatever it is, it's way too few, and, so hi, Javier, how are you doing tonight? Um, Hi, Lori, how are you? Okay, I already mentioned this, but I think she's located in central Kentucky. She started around Somerset, Kentucky. Or I'm sorry, I think her first few videos were like in the Somerset, and then she has people requesting that she test their church. So she's calling all over the country. I saw a call to like Louisiana, Michigan, Texas, all over the place to test them out. And it's super interesting what the results are. A Buddhist temple agreed to help her. I would like to see these numbers broken down, like exactly how many mosques did she call? How many, I'm sorry, is it a mosque, the Muslim place of worship? That's also called a mosque, right? Hi, Gary, how are you doing? Am I, this is so disappointing. There was a rainstorm last time, so I thought that was a bad connection. Do I have a bad connection to anybody else? It's like so disappointing. It seems to be more of a thing lately. I'm so sorry, guys. So there was a TikToker who is calling churches asking if they will help her feed her baby. And most of the churches are turning her down. Hey, Dory, how are you doing? Okay, I guess I just said what you just missed. That's all. The TikToker is calling, saying, and sometimes she has a recording of a baby crying in the background and is like, will you please help me feed my baby? We ran out of formula last night. And it is not surprising to me because I was in a similar situation last year. I was furloughed for 6 months. I don't think I mentioned it on my YouTube. Forgive me if I did. If I did, it was like in passing. But because it's shameful, honestly. It doesn't feel good to share with people that you were having trouble feeding your family. And it was honestly the only time, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it really was like the only time we were in the situation where I'm like, okay, there's barely anything in the cabinets, there's barely anything in the freezer. Like, that is scary. And I started to call around asking, trying to find, and like quickly it got like everybody was telling me you had to stay within your county, which, like I've said before, Kentucky has so many counties. We have like the third most amount of counties of any state. You can like drive 20 minutes and be in like three or four different counties in Kentucky. So it's a little bit, and most of them have like one town that's like 3,000 people, and the rest of it's very rural, small country town communities, what most people wouldn't even consider a town, like no stoplights. And like, so that was kind of tough to have to stay within the county in And I remember I was Instacarting. I even drove by what was obviously like a food drive, and I stopped and I was like, I'm out of work. I'm like desperate. It was in Casey County. I'm not just saying this, it was in Casey County, Kentucky. I begged, and the guy, he was like, yeah, but he was not nice about it at all. He's like, and I didn't take anything that would be considered like a treat. You know what I mean? They had like those Celsius drinks. I didn't take any of that because like anything that I knew, like, people would take excess of. I just got the necessities, and I'll never forget the way I was treated by numerous places, especially churches, when I was calling and asking for help. And these places are tax exempt in our communities. They don't pay taxes. They don't have to pay towards the fire department and the schools and all that like the rest of us do. And then they're turning away people that need genuine help. And this is once again, like I really do love my Christian friends. I'm not trying to say like all Christians are bad. There's good and bad people and everything you can think of. So there's definitely good people. There's definitely good churches. There's definitely people that without hesitation agree to help this woman. And I believe those were the people who are really walking the walk, talking the talk that Jesus would want them to, right? I'm sorry, I am not in the chat that much. I will get in the chat soon. Hey, Mr. Carey, I'm glad you're in here. How are you? Lexington is the best, Betty said. Lexington is a lovely city. It really is. Um, what are your thoughts on how to best use bacon to cause offense to Muslims? Well, I don't have any thoughts on that because I wouldn't do that. I've shared extremists of every religion that ruins it. And we lived on a university campus where there was the kind of Muslims that only showed their eyes, and they were very rude to the rest of us because they were the extremists, right? And this story made me think something. And once again, I don't mean this towards anybody in the chat. Like, sincerely, if you entertain me at all, you're not what I'm talking about. I just know that. But it hit me today. I don't think I realized how many of those bad extremist Christians I've been raised around, how many people I mistook as just like not the best kind of Christians. They're actually, no, they're like extreme to their core in their beliefs to the point where it is detrimental to the people around them. And that is what's going on. There's a church every mile out here, literally every mile. I'm not exaggerating, guys. There's a church every mile, and there's barely any people. There's so much religion going on. And I do believe, like, the church I attended last is not far from us. It's a small country church. I do believe that those people, they're good people. That pastor he has a business. He does a lot of other things for money. He's not just like trying to suck all the money out of the church. YouTuber Danielle was the first video I saw this morning on this subject. She herself grew up, she met her husband Christian Bible college. And she ended up becoming a secretary for a church right out of college. They dropped out of college, and she said she did the books for this church. So she's had personal experience seeing like people, a lot of people who think their churches are helping out and doing right with the money that is given to them would probably be like disgusted at what happens with it. And it was just a lot of other people speculated this. The amount of women, that's just like so disturbing to think about a woman, like calling another woman, and then that woman turning. It's disturbing no matter what. But like, just like fellow mothers and aunts, and you know what I mean, grandmothers saying no to this woman, and like a lot of times they'd be like, "We can't give you any cash, or we can't give you," and she's like, "But can you get me formula?" Like she made it a point to be like, "I'm not asking for cash, like I just need this kind of formula," and it so I made a comment on one of the videos, uh, briefly discussing what I said about how, yeah, I'm around the same area of central Kentucky, like from Greensburg to Somerset. I couldn't get any help. When I finally got help, I haven't finished the story. I call and I'm crying by the end of the conversation because I'm just like so, like we do have family we could go to. I think at this point we already went to them. So it's like I didn't want to go to my family and ask for more money, but like it was just like, so, and I mean, one family member was like, "This is it," even though it's like this literal second time they've ever helped. But anyways, typical boomer, whose parents set them up really nice, but they can't seem to understand the concept of helping their own kids in the same way that their parents did. But so I was crying. She said, "Can't help you." She called me back a few minutes later. She's like, "You know what? We can help you. Can you come here?" Because they had like a regular food drive. And I was like, "Sure." And I go there and they have literal, this is a really big church, very, very, probably the biggest church in this town, in this county. And like, the biggest town in the county, type deal. A basement full of food. It was like an Aldi's. It was seriously as much food as most Aldi's probably have. I'm not kidding. They had like so much of everything. So I took about a week's worth of food, and the whole time being like, "Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I promise I will like give back. Like when I do get back to work, I promise I will like come and donate some food or some money or something." And she's like, "Okay." And she even saw the pastor and she said when she goes back to work, she'll come back and donate some money and stuff. Walking out the door, she's like, "Oh, you have kids that go to this county?" And I was like, "Yes, I told you I have kids." That's the point. I would just be dumpster diving personally. If it was just me and like it's just like she, "Oh, well, you are eligible for this." Literally walking out the door, like, that was insanity to me. I think I should have been eligible just as a fellow Kentuckian calling and saying, "Hey, I'm furloughed. You can check the company I work for. Like, I can show you proof I am furloughed." And they kept dragging it out. They said it was a month, and then it turned into 2, then it turned into 3, then it turned into 4. This was the 5th or 6th month I was furloughed, and things were getting it was hard. And so I was not surprised at all when I saw the outcome of this TikToker. Once again, her name is Nikolai, Nikallie. She started out in Kentucky. I'm pretty sure she is a Kentuckian because she gives her phone number and it's like the Lexington area code. And I've heard different numbers. I don't know for sure exactly how many churches out of how many that she called turned her down. But one person said 9 out of 49 churches did help. So there's definitely good people, there's definitely good churches using the money, that they get to help their community. My experience has been churches, for the most part, only want to help their members. And there's churches that said that. Are you a member? Do you know a member? Well, we don't help anybody unless they're a member, they know a member. And like I've been told by people like to join a church because it's a great way to get community. It's a great, but like people will be there for you when you need it. And I totally understand that. But I just feel, I'm just going to say it. I feel funny about walking into a situation and buying that because that's what it feels like. You have to tithe, you're like buying it. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that like there aren't genuine connections being made. And it can be a beautiful thing to share community with people that have the same belief system as you, but, that really, really turned me off to church, and it wasn't too long before that I had visited a Baptist church that was near our first property. Neighbors would not stop. I mean, they were harassing us, okay? If it was anything else that they were doing, it would be harassment. If they were, like, at our door asking us to do absolutely anything else, it would be that's what it was. It was harassment. They harassed us until we went to their church, okay? There, that pastor talked for a solid hour about how he turned down this drug addict and he knew this person was a drug addict, what a horrible, evil, rotten person they were, and how they would never help any drug addicts. And like the sense of pride, like they only help like righteous people like them, and like that was uh, another example of like I don't think that's what Jesus Christ would want, and that's not very Jesus-like. And I totally understand not handing a fistful of cash to somebody you deemed a drug addict. I do understand that sentiment, but it was very disappointing to me. I'm gonna get in the chat now. What do you think of the simulation theory Adam said? I think that higher power simulated all of it. You know what I mean, Adam? I think it's kind of funny when people would believe that it's like a software computer simulation, but they don't believe in a higher power. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Nelson. I really appreciate you subbing. Thank you, Roger. Why worship a Jewish, I don't, can I even say that? God when it's not our God and we got our own ethno gods? Why convinced us to worship theirs? A Jewinian, are you saying that Christianity is a like false construct from them? Is that what you're saying? That's interesting. I definitely think that Jesus Christ was a real person, and I do believe in his teachings, and I do believe that the Bible is a holy book that has a lot to offer. I've just made it clear, like I feel like I can't commit myself to being a Christian unless I like sincerely feel it with 1,000% of my heart, and I don't believe in it completely. There's billionaire pastors. What does what does that tell you, Samo? Hey, Samo, I remember you. How are you doing? Um, Exactly. Did you guys see the video of this pastor that was asking for people to give $2,000, and when a woman stood up and gave 1,200, he got mad at her? I want to go to church to meet a nice woman. I hope you do chilled out CEO. If that's what you want, I hope you get it. Hi, Gypsy in New Zealand. How are you doing? According to your own religion, women shouldn't preach. Oh, I don't consider myself Christian. I don't. I'm just not religious. Hey, Keith, how are you? Good evening as shadows flees from our light as it returned to whence it came. Yes, and yes. Um, Yoder. Yes, that's completely wrong to ask why, at least how I see it. We are to give without expecting nothing in return, and it's humiliating, honestly. Oh, yeah. And like I think people that I hope anybody that is a churchgoer, like it's not about pointing the fingers at like the individuals because we don't know all the individuals. We don't know what member of the churches that turned her down would be in agreement with that. There's probably people at each church that would have been like, oh my gosh, a baby needs formula. I like help here. How can we help? And but it is a shame that the people representing the church aren't like trained to help. But like I said, I called many churches between Greensburg, Somerset, Kentucky. There was no help. Um, in like it was very much look only in your own county, and then they would do what they were doing with this woman a lot. Like there's this and that and this and that. Well, all those places tell us to go to you. All those resources you're giving us tell us to check with the churches. And there's actually a YouTuber who said that a few months ago. I don't know why I'm smiling. I smile at kind of weird times. I'm sorry, it's stupid. He said that. He's like, nobody will go hungry in America as long as there's churches. And this was like a few months ago. And I made a comment on his channel. I was like, actually, like, I couldn't get help from many, many, many churches. And the one that did made me bend over backwards for it. And yeah, I left a comment about it. And then, of course, this lady had to be like, "So they helped you out and you're complaining?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, um, it's just oh god, it's just, like, ridiculous. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Um, I'm sorry, I'm missing some comments. He's from Syria, Canadian Syrian, and he's in the Navy. He's a good friend of mine, Thomas said. I have a friend that Muslim, and I have been a Muslim and Christian church. And I have been to a lot of churches because, I grew up with so many religious friends and they all would invite you to their church, and like so I know as a child, it like I always felt welcomed in like every church. It's harder to make friends the older you get as an adult. I feel like it's the same thing. It's harder to just like walk into a church and feel welcomed, and I understand not necessarily wanting to just like welcome everybody with open arms, but like, isn't that the whole point? And the church that we were attending, I was furloughed when we were attending it. They didn't pass around the collection plate, and I liked that about it. And then one day the pastor's like, just so everybody knows, we've got, the box back there. Like, just because we don't pass around the plate doesn't mean we don't want you to donate, basically. And I'm like, I felt like he was like talking to me, and maybe I was just being paranoid, but I'm just so used to like feeling like if I don't give like 10% or like if you're never going and the Christian moms that I hung out with a lot that homeschooled, it was like, and I'm not saying between them, it was just obvious by the things they said is like you had to give, give, give if you wanted like any good position in the church. And I just knew as somebody who's been on one income for, we're just not able like, if anybody's getting 10% of our income, it's our kids, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I think it's a beautiful thing, and, like, Mennonite churches, like, and Anna was saying, like, they help people out with healthcare, like, that is so cool. There's actually a big company that's I believe it's just, like, a big Christian company where it's the same concept, you just pay into it, and then, like, when you need something, your costs get paid for out of the fund that you're like all paying into. And I just think that's so great. And like the concept of community through religion is absolutely beautiful. It's just like everything else in this world, it's getting worse and worse. And unfortunately, greedy people ruin it. Just like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Is it safe in your country? A girl can walk at night. My country is pathetic in this case. What country are you living in, Alex, if you don't mind me asking? It depends on where you are here at night, Alex. I would say most cities, no. I could walk down my street at night, but I'd be worried about there might be a random bear. Most churches, in my opinion, suck, Yoder said. Do you think they were always that way, or do you think they're getting worse as it seems like everything else is like I don't know how you feel about it, Anna. Do you think it's like the end of times and that's part of it? No, it's your individuality and your own spirit with Christ or the true divine, Thomas said. Yeah, I agree with that, Thomas. Noah, I don't agree with the genocide taking place over there at all. I feel like I can't even say that country's name. It's really sad. Because that's how like censored we have law in our country, like saying anything that could be construed as negative. No, I didn't fishing. I'm sorry. Hey Bill, how are you doing? Deuteronomy. I don't really know you, Deuteronomy. You're asking me. And primitive mysticism. Um, they like luggage, Jordan. They won't stand with people from Iraq or Iran that want to do these harmful things to people. Well, see, I don't. Are you saying that's why people are genociding? See, that's it's just so sad to me because, like it's extremists in all religions. So it's like, yes, extremists that turn into terrorists. You guys know, like, it, I feel like I can't even. The no country isn't even our ally. Like we give, 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 give. They're not an ally to us. Ow! I just hit my hand. That's not good. But Dory said, our Catholic homeschool group even had a couple families we were helping. Oh, that's nice. And yeah, so I've had plenty of Christians churches welcome us in is, and I've been honest, like I don't consider myself Christian, but my kids are like studying the Bible and stuff and like we've had a lot of good experiences. I saw one church she called was in Jeffersontown, Kentucky, which is a suburb. It's Louisville. It's not even a suburb. It's Louisville. When you hear Jeffersontown, Jeffersonville, Indiana is right across the river, but Jeffersontown is a really I just love it. That's where the Gaslight Festival is every September. It's a really cool little festival. Anyways, just cozy. The traffic, just like anywhere in Louisville, the traffic is so bad anymore. But there's a Baptist church there that didn't hesitate, and she called like one of the largest churches in I forget it was Nashville or something, like just these big cities, and like them refusing to help, Mormon churches refusing to help. From what I gather, they're some of the richest ones. That's why I said it like that, and like it's like, I can understand well, I can't understand. Like, I made it the point to be like, "I'm not asking for money, I'm not asking for anything like that, like, I need food." Like, it's like, um, it's a horrible feeling, and that's I remember that feeling in the air during the pandemic and just like you just feel people's anxiety and like to not know where you're going to get your next meal does something to a person that changes your personality, that changes your relationship with the people around you, that changes everything. And like it's so sad to me that like instead of helping people when they can not be in that situation and have a better chance at getting a leg up because they weren't stuck in survival mode, not even knowing how they were going to eat. And you wouldn't help them? We stopped, tried again, we only got a chance to try and twice, of course. I'm sorry, Fishing Queen. Um, am I can you guys hear me? Somebody said that they can't hear me. I'm doing good, Tim, how are you? Does Jesus pray to the Father, and does the Father pray to Jesus? Is that a riddle, James Abbott? So, I think that, everybody's, personal opinions on religion and everything like that aside, it, if you're a Christian in the chat, like, if you have any, like, do you agree that there's no excuse for a church not to offer to help? Because I never considered that tax exempt thing. And when people were like, they have a tax exempt status because they're supposed to be like helping the community, and like once somebody put it that way, I was like, wow, that really is such a great point. And I just felt so much shame. And I think that's what they're banking on when it comes to turning people away. When you're in that position where you need help with the light bill, you need help with oh, that was another thing. I was trying to get help with utility bills too. It absolutely impossible, zero income. And, and even a power company is like, oh, call us if you need help. Yeah, I don't see how anybody qualifies for like any of that help. It's insanity what's going on. It's controlled demolition. You can't tell me anything different. Like like what is going on in our country right now is a controlled demolition. They know that things were already rotten, and they just had to go ahead and topple it. Catholic Charities used to do a lot of things to help people out until the charitable contribution tax breaks for taken away need to get back to charitable contributions. I didn't know that, Bill Clancy. Thank you for adding that. I know that we had a great therapy center in Louisville, great therapy center, and I wonder if that had anything to do with it because it went from, gosh, I forget exactly who ran it. No, there's only one true God, that's the Lord our Father, and then we have Muhammad. You have Jesus. Is Jesus a creation or the creator? Well, isn't he both to Christians? Isn't he part of the Holy Trinity? So technically he'd be both. Is that right? Okay, I think everybody else can hear me, or they'd be saying that they can't hear me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna quit asking that. And I'm not on here trying to say that I know more than anybody about any religion. So yeah, I lack knowledge on a lot of things. Everybody does, James Abbott. Nobody knows everything about everything. This is about an interesting topic to me because, like I said, there's a church every mile here. And as people go without more and more, like people are only going to continue to suffer. I hate to say, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. It's just the truth of the situation. Like things are going to get worse and worse, and like more people are going to be reaching out. And maybe because of this little viral story, churches will be on the up and up to be like, "Oh gosh, like, you never know who's recording this and might like out us." And, and of course, she made it a point to like really give kudos to the people that agree to help. And I hope those people get good things from it. I hope they get donations pouring in because uh, they deserve it. And people know that they'll actually help other people with that money. Um, Yeah, Jesus would never say that because he's the Son of God and God built man and female in his own image and he sent us his son. Jesus just spread the word and baptized people. John the Baptist, his cuz. Macan beer, I don't get on as much as I did for a while, but I do at least twice a week. How are you doing? I remember you. Yeah, Tim, I straightened it. I felt so bad my last live when I said when I straightened my hair and it looks like Asian hair, and somebody said, "Is what's wrong with Asian hair?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with it." That's what I mean. It's like it looks better. It looks so much prettier. And I don't really got much to motorboat. Help. James, are you Muslim? These are very common Muslim arguments about Jesus. Well, see, I think that everybody, that's what's so great about America. Everybody is entitled to their own beliefs, but like when you start trying to like really push those on other people, unless they're asking for it, if I was like, tell me about Muhammad, tell me about Allah, like that'd be different. But God is God. People worship and connect to God in different ways. Divine substance, that's exactly how I feel about it. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. In my opinion, like it's the source we all come from and go back to. We're all connected to it. And it's also what created us. I think that's it's the same thing as what people consider the Holy Trinity in the Bible. And I don't mean that to, I don't want to like sound like I'm being blasphemous. Mr. Carey said Colossians 1:17, he is before all things and in him all things hold together. Everything we can see and all that we cannot comes from God. He always existed. Dory said, I also commented on Catholic charities being used by the government. I'm sorry, I missed your comment, Dory. I don't like that. How can you say nobody knows? Well, that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel, but nobody does know for sure. I'm agnostic because I just don't know, McConbeer said. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, what James, I mean, I don't know why you come in here demanding people answer your questions. I Is Jesus not a part of the Holy Trinity? Am I wrong about that? Jesus, this, right? The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. And I know not all Christians believe in the Holy Trinity, right? I learned a lot the past few years. And okay, so I want to like since a few of you I know if you're still in here, I hope you are. I just clicked on a Titus video today. Like once a month I watch one of his videos. It's just like I feel like led to it. And it was interesting to me. It was them cooking breakfast and the way that they were nitpicking over, like, the size skillet that they used. So funny. I'm sorry. I don't want that baby to be stressed out. I really don't get pleasure on a pregnant woman getting stressed out. I do not mean it like that. But it is so obvious. Like he is like, there's a reason why that man was over on his own 40 acres, all on his own. But you know what I mean? I'm sure we all know men like that in our lives. We all know a man that lives all on his own for good reason, right? Just can't seem to get along with anybody. And your pregnant wife, you if she asked to get a certain size skillet, you do it. And she was like on camera and she's like, "Will you get the bigger skillet?" "Oh, you want me to get the bigger skillet?" She's like, "Yeah, like I asked you to already." And then they sit there and they discuss why wanted to use that size skillet versus the other size skillet. It's just like typical, very typical, right? We've all been there. Anybody who's been married knows what it's like to have like stupid arguments. Like me and my husband have literally like started laughing at each other. Like this is so freaking dumb, and we both know it. Like, and um so yeah, that's another reason. Like we're all gonna die one day. You don't want to fight with your spouse over silly little things. You never know what's gonna happen when they walk out the door. But I thought that that was very interesting, and she was right. The little tiny skillet he had at first would. There's no way they could have fit everything in it. I don't see how she's getting enough caloric intake. There, where's the protein? You need so much protein as a pregnant woman. I really do worry. I'm not just saying this. Like I sincerely worry about that baby. I sincerely worry about any vegan baby. It's not right. It's like a vegan cat or something. You do whatever you want with your full grown adult body, but children should not be on vegan diets. That's what it basically is. They're vegans and it's unhealthy. It's dangerously unhealthy. And like, I don't see how she can eat peppers and onions and potatoes. And think, could you imagine? I would be famished. And I don't mean that in like, like go after them. Nobody's go say any mean things. I'm not trying to like incite any negativity towards them at all. Once again, pregnant woman, don't want to stress her out, but she's airing out like her and her husband. They weren't like bickering, like outwardly, like, but like they were. She, yeah, like I asked you to, and it's just like, oh my gosh. See, so like the honeymoon is quickly coming to an end, if not already ended. And it's like this is why when me and my husband have gone through tough times, and like if I don't get work out with him, I'm gonna have the same problems with somebody else, right? Because that's how I watched it play out with my own parents too. Why get divorced if you're just gonna like go repeat the same cycles with the next person? You might as well just like work on it, right? Mr. Carey, Acts 7:55-56. Or sorry, say 55 to 56. This passage describes the moment Stephen, while being stoned to death, looks up to heaven and sees the glory of God and Jesus standing on the right hand of God. Thomas said James John 5 to 7 is basically Jesus a miracle to heal the homeless and help the homeless because he has no one to help him. So you extend your arm or branch to help them. Big Earn said the problem, James, that he isn't ambiguous. However, you are correct. The phrase "I am God" is never said verbatim in the Bible. That's Thank you for your input, Big Earn. Um, yes, Father, Son, Holy Ghost is Trinity. The other Christians are called oneness Christians, meaning they're all three at once. Where Trinity is three separate identities, still equaling one. Thank you for saying that, yeah, Anna. How are you doing, Anna? I'm sorry I didn't ask you that. Dory, Christians believe in the Trinity, but there are exceptions such as Jehovah's Witnesses that do not. Okay. Tony, marriage is always supposed to be this thing you're supposed to do. People make it like it doesn't seem to have any logic in the move. Um, I'm so excited about this book, you guys. I know I still need to read She. Okay, seriously. We did this and I almost kind of feel like redoing it because I feel like I didn't do it justice and I could do a better job like reading without stopping so much because if I just don't monetize these, I mean, just don't worry about the monetization. This is the third book. I have read these two books, have been in my family since I was a little kid. They're like falling apart. I've read these like 10 times each. I've never read We. And so got it. And when I was going, I went to the very last chapter because like in a book like this, you're not gonna like ruin, the plot because it was of human love is the last chapter. It's like the best explanation of love ever. And it ends him talking about Western and like how Hindus have it right and how they are in their marriages compared to people in the East and how it's not our goal to like just be like Westerners and just like because we aren't them. We can't just develop their cultures and traditions because we want to. But it's super interesting. I almost feel like reading it to you guys, but it's kind of long, but it's like it is going to be so good. And Tony's comment reminded me of that because it is basically like you just really have to like the person and be friends with them. And people here do depend too much on feelings that are often fleeting, basically. The Lord declares, I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is none like me. Isaiah 46:9, Mr. Carey said. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Macan Bear, I really enjoy your look on life, your rarity. I love your hair, very beautiful. Oh, Macan Bear, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. That's really nice. All of that. Tony, veganism isn't so bad for health as long as you got all the necessary vitamins and minerals and proteins, just everything that the body needs. It would be the same thing, just in a different. Uh, so, this is how I feel about it, Tony. As somebody like I'm definitely no expert. This is not medical advice, right? I am no expert. But I think some people probably can fare well on a vegan diet. In my opinion, I don't think most people can. No, I don't think most people get and I don't believe most people can fare well on the carnivore diet. But then there's people that swear by it, right? I think your ancestry has a lot to do with it. Maybe even your blood type. I don't know for sure though. There's people that think that, and um, I think that they know, and the most elite people, they go to these certain kind of functional medicine doctors that just have all this knowledge that we don't have that helps them live longer or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that you really should go by how you feel or whatever. And that's part of why I feel so strongly about it. Like, yeah, in the billions of people on the planet, surely you're probably right. It's probably okay for some people. I tried it, I can't see how people don't, starve, and Vegan Deterioration is a great channel here. She's been doing it for years, she shows people you can see it. And looks aren't everything. We all age. It's not like that. People who are on vegan diets definitely age at a much faster rate. Like it is scary. They age like a president. You know how presidents age a lot during their terms? It's seriously how and once again, it's not being vain. Their teeth start falling out and deteriorating. It's like there's proof right in front of us that it's not healthy for most people. And then a lot of them that have children that are on the diet, and I have a child who's delayed, so I know it's not always the parents' fault. And I don't want to come off as pointing the finger at all parents who have special needs children. But a lot of them, their children aren't developing properly physically or mentally, and it's really sad, in my opinion. A woman, for some reason, I thought that was going to be a dirty joke. I am such a dork. Just saying, as long as you have the same nutritional value equal to, right, Tony. But there's certain things like vitamin D. I know mushrooms have vitamin D, but you can hardly get vitamin D in the plant kingdom. And I guess if you supplement with it, is that what you're saying? Deer hunts and grinding meat is up. Oh, that's nice, Yoder. Anybody who doesn't believe the Trinity just fails to understand it. Go over there and experience their culture. You'll change your mind, Razor. Oh, you're talking about that reminds me of the Seinfeld the Seinfeld episode where they're going to the wedding in India and the Indian people are like, "India? Why do you want to go to India? We don't even want to go to India." You guys know what I'm talking about? That's funny to me. My grandpa lived in India for years. He loved it. Almost died from dysentery. He still loved it. I think he got cholera too. Yeah. Um, we're supposed to be cold. Oh, thank you for saying that, Mr. Carey. Oh my gosh, my husband did say something about it being in the 20s, but we didn't think about letting the faucets drip. Thank you so much. Um, one good thing about the double wide, I know we still should do it, but I'm pretty sure it's one time when we didn't, I was and our pipes didn't freeze, and I attributed it to our a lot of our pipes being above ground, but still, um, you know what I mean, our big foundation. Um, Leslie, I don't think they're swollen, but my contacts feel really dry. I've had my contacts in since 7 a.m. What is that, Yoder? I'm writing it down right now, but you need to tell me what it is, or else I'm gonna not. I guess I could Google it. Go ahead, carry the ferry. Oh, I forgot to turn on my black light. Oh gosh, veganism, what a bag of worms. Never met a human that can have a sane discussion regarding the topic. Well, like I said, I think that it's possible some people can thrive off of it. It's just it's scary that people, I think it, what is the term? Orthorexic. People just get like really insane with diets. I think that um getting eating seasonal, get eating whole foods, like should be the goal. Cut out added sugar. That's a really good goal too. Yeah, children need iron, protein, sugar, sodium. And I guess we're twins. My daughter just said, "You look like me. We've been watching lives." Laura Lee. Oh, that's cool, Laura Lee. I can barely see your picture, but from what I see, that's so funny. One time on Oprah, there was a chick, and this is when I was like 12 years old. She literally looked exact. I saw my doppelganger on Oprah when I was younger because we all had them. Do you guys know about doppelgangers? That topic always kind of freaked me out. And there's I thought it was interesting, it's like a newer term. I assumed that was something that's been around a long time, but it's really like less than 100 years old, maybe even like 50 years old. Did you know that? And it's like the some teacher, like her students were seeing her twice a lot, or seeing doubles of her. Thomas said vitamin D comes through sunlight too, vitamin C through orange juice. Right. So vitamin D, there's so much out there about D levels. Hi, Earl. How are you doing? Uh, what I was told, and I'm not saying this is true, if you live in the northern hemisphere, you're never going to get enough sunlight. And if you do, like, especially like half the year, like, there's just no getting enough vitamin D, like this time of the year. But unless you live near the equator, like, you just aren't ever gonna get enough vitamin D from the sunlight. Most people are deficient in it. I think that might be a cause of some, children on the spectrum. I was tested low for vitamin D. I assumed it was in my prenatal blood work because I got blood work done, and then when I got tested low for again when he was, like, 5, and I told the nurse practitioner that, I was like, "Gosh, I, like, tested low for it before I had my kid, and I supplemented, and then I just," and she's like, "Yeah, they don't test pregnant women for vitamin D levels." I'm like, "Really? They don't do nutritional panels on pregnant women. Like, why does that surprise me?" I didn't think at the time, like, I just didn't think of it. You know what I mean? Until later when I look back, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure they test my D levels." And so anyways, I was still low after supplementing. I have topical vitamin D. Do you guys want me to show it to you? I want to show it to you. I got this from Amazon because, yeah, I tried, twice to get my levels up through my blood work. And one nurse practitioner was like freaking out. She's like, "I've never heard of transdermal vitamin D. That is so cool." And it's 10,000, but that's in like 2 doses. So it's like you take 2 pumps like separately from each other, and 1 pump is 5,000. If you know anything about vitamin D, that's a lot. But I mean, transdermal, the way I see it, a lot of us have gut issues, Epsom salt baths for magnesium, like any way I can get vitamins. Plus, it kind of makes sense if you make it getting it through the sunlight, like maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this is from Amazon once again. Oh, Carlsbad, California. That's so cool. Carlsbad is a really neat place. I believe that's when there's some kind of monastery there. On the beach, and you like see the stairs, like all this huge cliff and these like steep stairs, and you can like walk the monks watch. Oh my goodness, watch the monks walk down the stairs. Yeah, and that's another thing. Same thing with people who eat nothing but meat. It's like I guess they have to supplement or they'd be getting scurvy. And there's people that like they will just swear they're not. I don't know why it's a competition, but 100 years ago, our government had scientists saying that our soils were becoming depleted from our monocrop farming practices. You can't grow the same thing in soils over and over year after year and not strip the nutrient, no matter how much you fertilize. Like you're still, and it's deteriorating topsoil to the point where there's no water retention. Oh, I got a super chat, you guys. Thank you, Homer, dude. How are you? And so yeah, scientists said our we're gonna all be deficient, our food's gonna be deficient because the soils it are, and nobody ever talks about that anymore. They just go ahead and fortify the food. Oh, they notice, there's a lot of people getting rickets, for instance, and they like added the vitamin D to a lot of stuff, which I am thankful for. But yeah, thank you, Homer. Okay. So I I'm always paranoid. I'm gonna say something. Did you guys, I just heard this and I didn't look into it, but did you guys ever hear that a black woman, I don't know why it matters that she's black. That's just how it was explained to me and I looked it up. A woman, just a person, a human being, sued the creators of the movie The Matrix because she said that they stole her idea from her. She published a book in the 80s, and I'm like, this seems like it could be very verifiable by just like getting her book and seeing what her book was. She lost in court. But I thought that was super interesting to me because somebody was talking about how, like, um, just in general, people not knowing which ideas came from women. And when I looked that up, Pyramid, how are you doing? When I looked that up, I thought that that was super interesting. I'd never heard of that before. And a lot of people aren't aware. And I really don't think this matters. I just think it's interesting that the two brothers that wrote the movie The Matrix have since transitioned to being female. And I just think it's really interesting when like the red pill guys who are and I'm a centrist, so I get like both sides of a lot of stuff. But the red pill guys that are really bigoted. Homer, dude, I got this at clearance at Walmart. It's like a kid's shirt. Oh, $2. Thank you. I just love this color pink. I think like pink is not to toot my own horn, but I really like pink on me. I like a brighter pinks. Um, Meant in the band tool sense of the word. I didn't see what you said. Don't forget the gravy. I don't know what Tool song that is. I don't know a lot of Tool, if that's what you mean. I was listening to this one song. Do you know the band Cold? And they're not a Christian band, right? Because the Walk to Remember soundtrack? How are you doing, Pyramid? There's a few people who say they actually wrote The Matrix. Really? Okay, I never heard of that before. Well, this book was published in the 80s. If it's easy, if you could get a copy of it, meaning me, it seems like that would be easy to see, which also, why wouldn't she win the court case if it wasn't so cut and dry? But yeah, I really do want to get more into the books. I'm not saying I'm gonna like sit here and read like the whole book, but somebody recommended this, and I think it might be somebody that ran off. I don't know, it's not funny to me. I don't wanna talk about drama, but the other night, somebody just, like, acted up, and when I did re-listen to my live, I was like, "What the fuck? I don't think I deserved that." I don't know why he had to say, um, "Women ruin the job place because men can't goof around," and then, it's just so funny to me, like, the sexist, misogynistic people, women too, not just men, they speak out of both sides of their mouth all the time. It's like, women don't work hard. Women make the men work harder. Like, I don't get that. But I don't know if you did recommend it, will you please tell me? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It is interesting. It was published for the first time in like 1908. And it's like supposedly, they even say that like in here, supposedly the translations of some tablets from Great Pyramid of Giza. And I thought that that was really interesting. A lot of it is just like poems. Stupid Girl by Cold is one of my favorite songs. Stupid Girl by Garbage is one of my favorite songs. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up now that you said that, Pyramid. Because, okay, so we were listening to A Walk to Remember soundtrack. That is one of the best movies and soundtracks. And I love Clearance. I should show you guys. I was wearing the sweater I got. It was like a $80 sweater I got for like $7. And like every time I wear it, I'm just like proud of myself. I love buying stuff on sale. Um, Walk to Remember. Switchfoot, they were like a Christian band that wasn't known that well except for in the San Diego area, and when they got put on that soundtrack, they have the majority of the songs. Of course, Mandy Moore was in it, and she sings it's such a good soundtrack, like, every single song, and it's hard to find, and I'm about to buy it off Amazon. I don't, because it's really hard to find the whole soundtrack. I just use YouTube. I'm, like, pathetic when it comes to, like, actually branching out and using more apps. I know I should use more apps, but, um I'm trying not to lose my train of thought. Oh, yeah, that Cold song came on at I can't remember the title of it, but I'm like, "This is a really good band," and we are all like, "Yeah, we need to find out more about them." So I'm done. Yeah, The Matrix, it's a binary code, zeros and ones plus negatives through the whole galaxy, guardians of the galaxy. I am Groot. Tom. Yoder, I saw something hilarious today. The line children eat all your food. There's starving kids in Africa. African woman said, eat all your food. There's starving kids in USA. Yoder. Yoda, that reminds me, this made me laugh so hard, and then I was like, "It's not funny," but it is. This woman was like, there's commercials in other countries saying to feed a starving," or she didn't say starving, "Feed a kid in America for 49 cents a day." I was like, "Okay, that was pretty funny." I don't know what you mean by that, Jeff A. Boss bitch, only without the questions, huh? I don't know. Hello from Joe in St. Louis. Oh, hey, Joe. I've been to St. Louis once. That's a really neat city. How are you? I always regretted not going to the Museum of Miniatures while I was there. I drove by it, and I should have gone. I think about that every time I think about St. Louis. Um, Joe Lewis Serena coming from Detroit. What up, Joe? Kenneth said, did you see the national news sending a team of space explorers to super Earth like planet God save us plenty of spaceships get there? No, I did not see that. I don't get any news when it comes to space stuff. It's weird. Stupid. Oh, I already read that. Gosh. Okay. So I went up in the chat for some reason. Smarter instead of harder, Pyramid said. Yeah. Why spend I wait for everything to go on sale. Like if you can, like sometimes you can't, but like that's one good thing about there's lessons I have learned that like now that we're not we are okay. Oh my god. Now that we're not like so low income, I'm still acting like we are. You know what I mean? And it's like one thing is like if I see something that's a staple and it goes on like a really good sale, I stock up like Costco stock up. And it seems like well, duh, but it's like no, if you really live like that with everything, most things go on sale. Butter and oil, that's one of those things. Like butter is ridiculous, but if you wait, even Kerrygold, that's my favorite butter, Kerrygold. Pyramid said, I love that song too. The garbage, stupid girl. I think that's the one you were referring to. And I'm so proud of my brain for remembering that. Stupid girls are my favorite, Primos. Music just isn't what it used to be. Okay, Zachariah Stitchin mistranslated quite a bit of the tablets. Oh, really, Pyramid? I don't recall reading that name. Um, but yeah, this says Dr. Doriel, whatever, and it's in quotes, so that's like a pseudonym probably. But yeah, anything like that, it's like really easy read. I'm open to it. And I always bring up the Sumerian tablets. So when I saw that, I'm like, um, I, I hate to be so, I'm so negative, but like the most useful information, I don't think it would be printed in a book, like they would just like keep it from us. I saw the most interesting shorts or this sarcophagus was at the Met Gala. Kim Kardashian took a picture next to it because she was like in this gold dress and it was like this gold sarcophagus. It was beautiful. And because of that picture, the man who stole the sarcophagus and sold it to the Met turned them in because they never gave him his $4 million. So this man like illegally smuggled it. I don't like the story was written so like the Met didn't know it was illegal though, right? I can't wink. Then he's like, "Hey, they never gave me my money, so I'm going to rat them out now." That was actually stolen from this place in Egypt in 2011 when the regime change was going on. So that was just super interesting to me. It was because this picture was going around of Kim Kardashian next to it. Um, uh, you just never know. Switchfoot is awesome, Pyramid. I really like them. I used to listen to Carmen on TBN. I don't know who that is. Bertha was the first person in here tonight. I thought that was cool. Am I super far up? Okay, I'm not super far up. She'll see this eventually. My chats were about you putting it out for the universe to see. Um, Sudan is the real Islam. The shoulder pads are real. I wish it was as simple as sexism. Yeah, nothing is that simple. Remember those TV commercials with Sally Struthers talking about the poor little girl in Africa that was starving 20 years later? The same commercial was going on with Sally Struthers. Right, Bill, right? I remember growing up, yeah, like they would run the same commercials for like literally a decade. No, I have a Venmo, Mometsi. Thank you, Mr. Carey. You're on it. I don't even have to. You're so helpful. Mometsi, I do have an email. I have an email in my description. You don't have to pay me to email me, but um, I don't have all day long to go back and forth on email either. But I always answer my emails. Oh, listen, thank you. I heard about that. She sued the producers of The Matrix. Yes, Thomas, and she lost in court. Or it was found it to be unfounded, something like that. Um, truly. Oh, goodness. No, Frankie. That's nice that you would ask first, but if you're going to ask, the answer is no. Fun fact, if you knew how to apply a wound dressing and CPR in World War II, you could qualify as a field medic up until the 80s. Oh gosh, yeah. We really are so spoiled, saying stuff like that really puts it into perspective. So I had a few like epiphanies today, and one was like, oh my gosh, I thought that like people were just like, good-hearted Christian people for the most part, most Christians, and now I'm starting to see no, most Christians are like the extreme religious people that, like I said, are detrimental to the community around them. And then another thing I was thinking about was just how incredibly I know I rag on boomers a lot. I'm sorry for anybody that is a boomer, but you probably understand where I'm coming from. People that grew up then really did have it like the easiest. Like that generation, there won't ever be a generation that like grew up with so many conveniences, so much opportunity, everything basically like handed to them. And it wasn't too long before then, like, oh my gosh, I swear I will get my Abraham Lincoln video up eventually. And then you hear about the lives of these people that founded our country just a few short 100 years ago, really just 3, 4 generations ago. Like his grandpa got attacked by Indians working on their farm and passed away, and then his dad, worked the same land and was not a very nice person to him. And just like think about like the struggles of so many people, and that was just like commonplace, like grandpa got killed by the Indians, and like just surviving was so much harder for most of us up until what, like after 1900 something, right? Like around, and then grocery stores, like, most people don't really like, not that I know, but, like, I don't know really think about life without a grocery store. It was only 100 years ago or so. The grocery stores weren't common. People had their little general stores, but there weren't like these big sprawling grocery stores you could get everything at. And like, it's just crazy, like how convenient life got. But really, for like a very short amount of time in the big scheme of things, it was just like what, like 50 years or so. That's a very big estimate. And now, like, things are going downhill so much, and like the cognitive dissonance for some people is just like so, and just thinking about like people not being able to eat, people having this flippant attitude of Homer dude, thank you so much, Homer dude, you're so sweet. People having a really flippant attitude about people struggling when they aren't super. I don't know why people are so out of touch. It's just insane. That's the only way I can explain it, is like they just grew up totally differently. I don't think I can talk any slower than I am right now. Um, is somebody from Egypt in here? Fun fact. Oh, I already read that. Life really is that simple, Jeffe said. So I think I'm done ranting about Yes, Melvin's family, after coming here from Europe, was attacked by Indians in Ohio. There's even a book made about it now. Oh, wow, Yoder, that's crazy. Life was very difficult until the early 1900s. Thank God for the modern era. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people, and I had this attitude for a little while too, which I still do, really. It's like we live like kings used to. You know what I mean? Like now we live like the most richest elite people did at a certain time. But I also think that's the way they keep us under their thumbs. They know that there's, like, people that will always, like, say shit like that. Well, but, like, we could be living like the Jetsons, right? People don't realize how bad things could be for them or how quickly it can happen, right, Pyramid? And I think, like, I had grandparents who were immigrants. If you've got people that came from worse situations, I mean, my grandpa came from Switzerland, so he's not he's not one that kinda immigrant. But he lived in Africa and India and, Vietnam and China, and, like, definitely, like, was instilled in me that, yeah, we are so blessed here. Have a good night. I will stop in again sometime. Okay, Homer. Are you a member, Homer? I hope you are. I don't think you are if you don't have the star. I should know this. We're doing members only tomorrow, and I was thinking about making marshmallows. I don't I know that might sound boring, but like it really is a waiting game, and like marshmallows is such a fun recipe. And then if it goes well, I probably will unprivate that because I just think, oh, it's such a great recipe to be able to make. Like homemade marshmallows with gelatin, and then you can, like, make all sorts of variations, and you can add, like, any like, orange I don't know if you want mint, that sounds kinda weird, mint marshmallows. You can, like, dip them in butterscotch or chocolate, caramel, like, oh my goodness. Once you've had, like, legit I hope you sleep well, Homer, if you're still in here, I don't know if I said that. Good homemade marshmallows, like, I still eat the Jiffy ones, but there's nothing like homemade ones. I should look it up. I don't know if somebody's made a video about it on YouTube. Okay, Homer. Well, no, I'll catch you soon. I have so I want to redo my live that I did last. That was how I think that I actually kind of feel like doing it tonight, honestly. I might hop off of here soon, walk my dogs, and then do the why I think being a stay-at-home parent is the hardest job in the world. And yes, it's kind of hyperbolic, like a lot of titles are on YouTube. I think a lot of you understand that. I'm not literally trying to point the finger at any of my audience members, but especially the men. Like you guys know my heart good enough by then, right? Right? I'm not trying to say women are all better than you. It's like in response to what people I feel like don't seem to understand about motherhood. And it is like, yes, it is not as physically hard as a lot of jobs. And I do want to make a video on how it is a privilege and a career at the same time. And that's why it's unlike anything else. It is a privilege to be able to be at home. It's a privilege to not have to be on anybody else's schedule and clock in at a certain time. I understand that. That's the number one thing I like the most about this is like not having to clock in, not having to go drive to work during a statewide weather emergency. um, okay. I think that should be illegal. If it's a state emergency, I don't think they should be able to make you go work in a factory. And I'm not just saying this. I was the only car I saw on the road, my Honda, the only like sedan I saw on the road the whole time. Everybody else was in like trucks and SUVs and but anyways, since then we got a big SUV. It's a book set. Starts with Jacob's choice children kidnapped by Indians, and one of his relatives was captured but escaped like a sissy with an axe to his leg. Oh my gosh. Escaped like a sissy. That's so funny. That sounds like a good story to tell around the campfire. Gelatin is a very good source of collagen, Jeb said. Yeah, I need more collagen. We all do after what, the age of 30 or 35, but like I swear and I'm not I really don't care that much. But my fine I used to take it every day in my coffee and I haven't for like 6 months and I'm noticing a difference in my skin. And I got a sinus hole plugged up. It was like they put collagen plugs in it. I don't even want to tell you guys. I was afraid that opened back up for like 2 days, and like, thank goodness I don't think it did. But yeah, I think I need some collagen. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Men are the prize, Primo said. I like happy spouse, happy house, and I think yeah, men are the prize if you're a straight woman. You know what I mean? We should be the prize for each other. And Yoder said, Judge to me, got a job. I'm a wife and a mother of four, so why no income? Me. I got a cellar full of 3,000 jars of food. That is my job, and I don't get paid for it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my, why no income? Hey, Rusty, how are you doing in Ohio? Homer said, "You're still young." I know, you're right. This woman, I love her so much. I think she's in her 60s and she's all about like empowering middle-aged women. And she's like, what I wish I would have known in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and when she's like, what I wish I would have known in my 30s, she's like, you're still young. And I was like, I think 20 years from now a lot, like especially with when it comes to your children, like think about how they're gonna think about whatever's happening 20 years from now. You know what I mean? And like, um, yeah. And I think that like 20 years from now, that is why I do YouTube. And somebody said that they're like, you're not a good wife if you would be on here talking to people. And I was like, my husband is why I am on here. And I sincerely mean that. Like, he's the one for years. And it's not to get me out of his hair. It's not like that. For years. He's like, and that's why I did start making YouTube videos like 7 years ago. He's like, you really should do this. And yeah, I love your comment, Yoder. And I felt bad, and Diamond commented, she'd rather work than be in, because it is easier in her opinion too. And I kind of glossed over that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have said more about that. But like, it is true. Like, and that's what people, they don't understand because they've never done it before. And I kind of went off a little and then I felt bad about that. But the people that like stick their foot down and like, I can't believe you would say it's so hard. And like, I think I have no idea what happened to Jay Hardy. If he's like completely mad at me, I could be mistaken, but I think he's like completely mad at me for saying, like, in my opinion, it is the hardest. And if you would like listen, I don't know why many men have such a chip on their shoulder about it. And I'm not saying this about his situation, but it's interesting to me because I don't know. Why would you? It's not a competition, like, why would you feel that way? Why would you get mad about the fact that maybe your mother of your children, like, works really, really hard? Wouldn't you want that maybe? Like, yeah, she puts so much time into our family. It's more time than I put into my full-time job, and there's something to be said about that. And, like, the ego, and that's what love is. Love is, like, looking past your ego, letting go of your ego, whatever hurts your pride and everything, and that's what's like why I talk about misogyny so much. These men can't get past anything until they get past that. You literally think half of the human race is less. Men are the prize for Democrat males as well, Jeb said. If you literally think half of the human race, you're never going to consider them in the ways that you should. Favorite element of the periodic table, Roger. Iridium. Why would you say iridium? I don't That's such a good question, Roger. Once again, I don't think I can answer it properly. I would say something like copper or gold. My mother raised 8 children. She did the business books for my dad, masonry company. My mother did a lot. She never put us in daycare. She said someone else would be raising my children that way. Bill Clancy, that's so nice. Yeah, it's sad what's going on now. It's like nobody can afford anything. You can't afford daycare, can't afford to stay at home. Roofing in the summer as a redhead is pretty tough. I fell in love fan page. I'm so sorry. And okay, so I hope you guys understand, like people that are willing to hear me out. This is where I'm coming from this. Anybody who does any super hard job, yes, you work harder than me when you work. But I hope you can understand since I was 19 years old, and it's by my choice. I chose to have 3 kids, right? But whoever's working the hard jobs chooses to work the hard jobs. Nobody's, forcing them to. They are being compensated. I have not had a solid week off from motherhood since I started at the age of 19, almost 20 years ago. Oh my gosh, listen to me. 19 years ago, almost 19 years ago. And once again, that's my choice, but I don't get compensated for it. I don't have anything like to show but my happy, healthy children, which is plenty. Trust me, like that's more than enough. But I'm just saying, like, there's something to be said about that, and that needs to be acknowledged. And if more people acknowledge the sacrifices that was being a career, a homemaker, a mother, um, then it would be easier for all of us. It would be easier for mothers to rejoin the workforce when they wanted to or needed to. And it would also be better for the children. So children are looked at as like these inferior beings, and we still have a lot to catch up when it comes to our society and the way we treat children. Yeah, things have gotten a lot better in the last 100 years, but they still need to get even more better. And so, like, children are an extension of women. They are an extension of their mothers. At least, the young children. So, like, we can all benefit from like revering motherhood. And once again, yeah, I know there's lazy people. I know there's people that don't do the job of staying at home well. um Chucky, I cannot make sense of your comment. Hi, cheap coin. How are you doing? I'm sorry, fishing queen. Women, be careful. I don't know what DWF is, Jeb. Men are the real creators of life. Really, Brandon? Sorry. Um, do we want to get into this now? Are we going to do this now? Are we going to right now? Um, Men don't create life, and that is why we're here. That is why they created the patriarchy in response to being so like beside themselves with the fact that women can literally create and sustain life. And their response to that is to like build, 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 and turn around and oppress women. And that's and then to not to mention they're destroying life on top of that. And not all men, I'm talking about like the bad men that we're all victims to. If you really think about it, I don't know how long you believe humans have been here. I don't know what to believe either. Whatever, 2 million years, 2,000 years, what okay, longer than 2,000. If you believe in the Bible or whatever, whatever, how many thousands of years you believe humans have been here, I think that we've definitely had times in history where like women were the ones in charge. And once again, it's best when it's like a literal mix. This is clearly like the male dominated culture or world. And what is going on with it? We literally the forever chemicals everywhere. There's like, 2,000 chemicals in existence and production. I'm pulling this up. There's really is something like this, but only 400 have been thoroughly tested. And then we wonder why cancer rates keep going up. And women think long term better, in my opinion. Overall, making generalities, okay? So it's like men are good in the short term. Men are good for like that kind of like safety, protection, logic, problem solving, short term, right here and now. And we balance each other out in that way. And it's the women, because this is what we do in the homes. This is why it's such a joke to be like, I'm sorry, like people are just natural born leaders, men and women. Not all men are natural born leaders just because they're a man. And some women can be, they're not just because they're a woman. And some most leading people, they lead whole family units. They're the ones that make decisions, and not always. But it's just interesting to me. Even when you defer to the man, you are in a situation where he is the head of the household. Most of the time in that situation, especially most of the time he's gone, right? You are still the one making the majority of the decisions and leading the family for the most part. But that doesn't mean you don't defer to him, and that's fine. Um, Popping tops on juicies and changing out DVDs isn't the same as the way of supporting a family. I fell in love fan page. Okay, see, I really don't want to make it seem like it, but it's not. My husband made me a homeowner. My husband works hard, and I tell my children every day, I homeschool one kid right now. We get to do what we do every time we go anywhere. We went to Dinosaur World, Car Country, like we get to do what we do. Not that I don't make any money at all, but I don't make as much as I used to. I did work full time, and my husband stayed at home for a little while. And I always tell my kids, like, we're here because of daddy. Like, it's definitely very important to acknowledge the hard work that, like, my husband only has 1 day off a week. Like, I don't get any days off, but I understand that he is working hard shifts and he has to go clock in and out, right? But I hope you can understand, wrap your mind around the years taking care of a family in a home for years if you do it right. If you're just opening juice, no, I don't buy my kids juicy juice. No offense to anybody who does, but I don't buy my kids juice. Um, no. And my kid watches one movie each day, if that. We go whole days without any screen time. Not that that's wrong either, but like, yeah, there's the lazy parents that sit their kids in front of the TV to be the babysitter. Then there's parents like me who are absolutely responsible for all their kids' education, socialization, and they are producing awesome members of society, I would say. And it is a lot of work when your kids need the one-on-one, and that's why you home educate, especially it is a lot of work, but it's really worth it. And it's important to acknowledge the hard work of your spouse. Yes, like if you've got a man in your life, and that's what I made a live about. I don't think stay-at-home moms should be compensated by their husbands because that's some advice that's going around a lot of online spaces now, telling women don't stay at home unless your man can put a bunch of money in a bank account for you every month. Like, I think that's so wrong because your payment is being able to stay at home with your children. And and I think it's a beautiful thing when you can work with each other because you are taking a risk. You're taking a risk no matter what you do, not having the children and working a job, that's not guaranteed to stay around ever either. Eddie said everything around you is man-made. Okay, let's not get dumb about it is what it is. Eddie, everybody you are around, everybody you've ever interacted with, every person who's ever made anything was made by a woman. Do you understand that? And children only need women for a few years breastfeeding. They will need to be financially supported and protected forever. Well, yes, and women protect children. In my opinion, I think women protect children better than men do. Hot take. Women protect children more and better than men. And there's a lot of shit mothers out there that don't protect their children. But when we want to talk about like protecting children, the number one threat to a child is a non-biological male in the home. We need your protection from other bad men. You're protecting us from more bad men. You're not protecting us from other women most of the time. There's always exceptions. So, this is why it's like the yin and yang. It's not about who's better than the other. It's like women have been so oppressed and looked down on. You think we're less physically strong, which we are. I'll give you that. But we're also less smart. We're also less intellectual. We're less funny. We're literally less hardworking. We're less of everything than men, according to a lot of men and some women, which is really sad. There's a lot of women out there, and I think that that's what I'm trying to help. Not that I think I'm going to single-handedly turn it around at all. I don't even would I be even considered a micro influencer? I'm like a microscopic influencer. I really don't think my reach is like, oh, I'm influencing people, but I think that people that are on the same path are meant to find me will, and that's what it's like. It's so discouraging as a stay-at-home mom to like my whole stay-at-home mom careerhood up until this point. I had people making me feel like I laid on the couch and ate bonbons. Like, no, like my kids walked into middle school and high school making straight A's and B's and extracurriculars, socializing, making friends. I did a great job homeschooling my two older kids. I think I'm doing okay with this one too. And like the older so now I'm more confident in it, and I don't let that get me down because I know I'm not a lazy mom or person, and we have made so many good choices, and I know a lot of women, that worked the whole time oh my gosh, see we're homeowners, we focused on paying off debt, we both of our cars have well over 200,000 miles, we just don't spend a lot of money on a lot of frivolous things, and, where was I going with that? Women are very important, Jeb said. Men literally do everything in this world apart from give birth. Ha 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 ha. Build and maintain everything. Ha 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 ha. Brandon, have you ever worked at a warehouse or a factory? Because I have. And like I know there are some things, especially like welding. There are definitely jobs like women can't do. We literally don't have the upper body strength. But those are very few and far between. They sincerely are very few. Most jobs where men and women work together, and you guys know this has been proven, like, ideally, there's a mix of men and women. This has been, like, studied. The most productivity comes from men and women working together. What do you think the least? When there's nothing but men in a workplace, they tend to be less productive. And that's what was going on in my life last night when, like, out of nowhere, that guy had to be like, women ruin the workplace because men can't goof around. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is really annoying when you're just trying to get the job done. And there's like a bunch of guys like I said, they're just throwing parts everywhere, and they're not gonna be the ones to pick them up, right? It's the mommies who always pick up after everybody. But we're also less than. We're less smart, we're less hardworking, right? And they're like constantly, and I worked with a 70-year-old man, and I like asked him when we were having a conversation, I'm like, so when women started working at factories, like, and he's like, yeah, it really did suck. Like they always got the easiest jobs. Like in the 70s, it was horrible. It was like women were handed the easiest jobs. And like men would always like help them a lot, and like and then he's like, and things have gotten better. Like I don't feel like that anymore. Like technology has made it so like we need less brute force, which makes total sense to me. So I don't know if there's some residual carrying over, but like every job I've ever had for 20 years now, women work just as hard, if not harder, than the men there. It's true. We have to have the same productivity. We have the same job description, same duties. If we don't do them, we get fired. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. And like this, men work so much harder than women. Every job place I've ever been at, I would say there's once again, I never said this until people kept saying that. There's more hardworking women than men. We bleed every month. We are used to adversity. We are used to pushing through. Clearly, men aren't, because they're getting less college degrees. They're dropping out of the workforce. Like 0.6% of men each year drop out and never come back from the workforce. There's at least a million able-bodied men from like the ages of 18 to 50 right now not working for seemingly no good reason. I'm not, if you're disabled, I'm not talking about you. I understand there's like a lot of reasons why somebody might be disabled and unable to work. I'm not talking about those people necessarily. Of some of those people probably could qualify for disability in a better place. But, there's a reason why men are falling behind like that, and it's because this world is late stage capitalism. We're all victims to it. We're all suffering. But why are women seemingly not, why is there no female loneliness epidemic? Why can women just carry on in, why is it the men, I never thought this would happen. If you were to tell me 20 years ago men would be complaining about the birth rate and wanting babies, there's more men in their 20s that want babies than women in their 20s want babies. I'm like, wow, it's really flipped on itself, because you can't tell somebody that their only value is to have children. That's the only thing they're good for, and then turn around and say that that's valueless. And that having children is like no big deal. You're just opening a bottle of juice for them. You're just popping in DVD players. If you really think that's what motherhood is, like if you sincerely think that, like I really think that's a sad state, and I hope you don't have children. I mean that. Like it is so, like the hardest thing you'll ever endure is being a caretaker. And that one man that got like really mad at me when I was just like off the bat, like I barely said anything. He I think there's a reason why he takes to heart so much, somebody talking about how the hardest job is being a caretaker. And that just says a lot. If your ego gets bruised by me saying that the hardest job is taking care of a home and a family unit of people, and being there for a whole group of people, mentally, physically, spiritually, in every way possible, uh, being the one that meets their nutritional needs, like it is so multifaceted. If you do it right, you are constantly working. You are constantly on your feet. If you're lucky, you might sit down at the end of the night and like do a YouTube live for an hour or two, but um women are more and happier than ever if you take head med consumption into account. Well, Endo Nintendo, my perspective on that is a woman, you can't go to the doctor without them trying to shove antidepressants down your throat, quite literally. I have never been to a PCP that doesn't try to get me on them, Endo. I feel like they don't do that to men. And maybe I'm wrong. Men don't go to the doctor as much, period. But I feel like when they do, they don't every single time. Now, when I go to a new PCP, I literally say, "Hi, my name is Lydia. I don't want any antidepressants." I swear to God, you guys, I literally start off my introduction to the new doctors like that, because they're just all about, like, I don't know if it's the kickbacks or what, but they can't wait to get women on the and oh, it works like anti-anxiety. Well, I have anxiety, oh, well, it works like that too. It's like, oh my God. And then the gynecologist, it's literally the birth control pill is their band-aid. Thank you, Gary, for literally everything. I fell in love fan page. Where do you work that you can sit and scroll on Facebook all day? That must be nice. I don't understand why anybody, how anybody could work any job and just sit there on their phone. Have you ever beat somebody up because they owed you money? If not, can I borrow 20 bucks till Thursday? I'm not laughing in a mean way. You're just passionate about this, and I totally disagree. Well, primo, it's okay to disagree. Everybody has different opinions on like nobody's going to think the same about everything, you know? And I think it's really funny when people get upset at people for not thinking the exact same thing about them. I don't think my message is necessarily for men who are misogynistic and look down on half of the human race and see us as literal tools to be used. I think that as a mom, like I said, so many people telling them, especially when I was like 22, 25 years old, you know, a lot younger than I am now. It, I stay at home with my kids. Oh, I know the principal for the elementary school. Like, what? I homeschool my kids. Oh, I know the principal. Like, that has happened to me a few times. Um, do you want me to help you get a job? Like, shit like that. It's like, once again, if we revered motherhood and we were like, oh my gosh, you're like making one of the most ultimate sacrifices and the most selfless things a person can do, and literally like commit your life to like, you're giving free labor and it's for all of us. Yes, I was my choice to have children. We need people to have children, all of society to move forward. And it is the most important thing, in my opinion, that they are trying to tear apart is the family unit. And that's what's going on right now. I run a business that's seasonal, take care of my children over the winter, and it is the easiest 3 months of my life. And I look forward to it, the respite from it, the respite, listen to me, from the craziness of the business. Want to be NFL. Sounds like you don't do much with your kids. Want to be NFL. Sounds like you're kind of shit dad. Sorry. I if you really are like, oh, this is easy. Are your kids like 13, 14, 15, like pretty independent or what? Um, and this is what I said in my last slide. I'm sorry, that was a bitchy thing for me to say, but like, you know, that one guy's like, "You worked for 2 years," because I did work at that factory for almost 2 years. I'm like, "No, that's the whole fucking point. I've been working for 20 years because 'cause I've been a mother. Whenever I didn't have a full-time job, I was a mother, and that's the whole point. It is work. It is a career. It is work. It should be looked at as a career. When I home educated was in the co-ops, I'm not a part of any co-ops currently. With my older 2 kids, we were in a lot more of those. And I was around so many business owners. I don't know what this one guy did, but he had like a nice little old Ferrari. It was like from the 80s, but still. Um, all sorts of men would say the same thing. I couldn't do what you guys do. I couldn't imagine. Do your kids go to school? Like that's another thing. See, I just automatically think like kids at home all day. If your kids go to school, I'm sorry. Like they're babysitting our kids for us. It doesn't count if your kids go to school, wanna be. When you have and like and I don't mean that to anybody else. Like him saying that it's easier on the off months of his business is what I meant by that. The doctor's appointments, I'm sure when wannabe is home with his kids, his wife is like, she takes them to their dental cleanings, their annual well check, their annual eye exam, or whatever other appointments they have to have. Don't fall on those 3 months. What else? I'm sure when it comes to like buying school clothes, anything like really, you know, like um to-do list type stuff. It's just like all this is dad's time off work and he's going to decompress and like you probably don't even do like literally half of the stuff that the other parent does. The thing that's having the biggest impact on people having a family is most people can't barely can or can't at all afford a home or other necessary things. Why would you bring a child into this? Crestfallen kitty said. Yes, crestfallen kitty. Definitely the end of a cycle. Late stage capitalism is the biggest impact on all of us. And I agree with you, Crestfallen. And they're trying to divide and conquer in all these other ways. And I bring up a lot of these gender dynamics because I'm interested in it mainly, but I don't want to come off at all like I think that that is what it's really is the root problem. You know, men and women, for the most part, are all victims to the oligarchs that run us all. I miss homeschooling, but no judgment. It's a ton of work. I don't miss all of it, that's for sure, Darren said. Allie saying, I'm a single mom and I still homeschool because I co-parent with their dad. They are with him right now because I have to work early tomorrow. Oh, that's really, Allie saying, I love hearing that raising children is supposed to be a ton of work. Yes, Allie. That's so nice that you can still homeschool and good for you. I'm so glad. That just makes me happy to hear that that's working out for you in that situation. Have you ever been in a fist fight over a man? No, I haven't. When did single motherhood become a badge of honor? Brian, I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's a literal badge of honor. I do understand. Um, I understand what you're trying to say, and like why people look at it as like something to revere because it's hard. It's hard to be both parents at once. Even if you do, like Ali Sand said, even if you do have like a good co-parenting situation, it's still like it's more difficult. And yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a badge of honor. I think that's a uh, something like a red pill person might say. I'm from Kentucky, Bald Bandit. I love my father, but he also adored my mother and he respected her. He appreciated her worth. Oh, Gary, that's nice to hear. Oh, I'm 100% proud of me and what I do. He doesn't help us school at all. They know how to read, add, and subtract because of me. Alice and oh my gosh, yes. And it sounds like your kids are probably still quite young. It'll only get better the older they get, I promise. I'm glad to hear it sounds like you are confident now, though, because you should be. It really is the greatest gift to be able to be your child's, like, first teacher in so many ways. And they're going to be so much better off for it, Allie. They really are. And all the time you put into it and the hard work and like, not many people, you work full time or part time, whatever you do, like, not many people could do that either, girl. I really commend you for that. I mean it. So many people look down on home educating parents. That's oh my goodness. If you stay at home with your kids, you're lazy. If you work, you're a boss babe. You think you shouldn't be in the workforce. Women need to leave the workforce. It's like you literally can't win. You cannot win as a woman. And yes, I still stand firm in it. I think being a stay-at-home parent, if you are a good devoted one, if from my experience, it was harder than working full time in a factory. And I commuted an hour either way. I'd be gone 10, 12, 14 hours some days because the shifts were 10 hours long. I'm sorry, I was gone 12 to 14 hours out of the house, 10 to 12-hour shifts. I had more time to myself because when I came home, it was me time. This is my me time now, and I should be in bed. I should be asleep because I have to wake up at 6:30 to make breakfast. Um, because yeah, I'm sure anybody that says being a parent is easy, they don't wake up an hour before they have to take their kids to school to make them breakfast, to make sure they get a good breakfast. And I'm not all I don't do that like all the time for all my kids, but like right now we're in a season with one of them where this is what's going on for certain medical reasons. And yeah, somebody thumbs that down. And then they're like, "Oh, that's so hard," but you couldn't do it. Anybody that would poo-poo that couldn't do it themselves. They couldn't wake up at 6:30 in the morning and then be the chauffeur for an hour to go to school and then do some other stuff and then make sure that you get the second breakfast for the other kid and you spend 2 hours homeschooling and then you get some playtime and then you take care of all the animals because we have animals and then you clean up because it's constant cleanup when you actually cook. Cooking, cleaning, cooking, cleaning. It's a literal job. And anybody that dismisses that has never done it themselves, clearly. There was a man in my chat, he said that. He's like, I used to think my wife didn't work that hard, and then I stepped in for her for one day, and I never said anything like that ever again. And it's like the people that are like, oh, I mean, it's so easy. I know for a fact they literally sit on the couch while their kids play. I'm sorry. I know that. You don't cook for them from scratch. You don't go out of your way to stimulate their minds with activities. And it is difficult to interact with children. A lot of adults will admit that. You love your children more than anybody. It's not easy to like go from like that to like back to work like somebody like Allison. Like a lot of men couldn't do that. I'm sorry they couldn't. And that's what I was saying. You want what you don't value. You want a woman that will stay at home and do all of those things. You want a family and you want the woman to raise the children. But at the same time, you say things like that. Like the man that said it wasn't that hard for the 3 months out of the year. I feel bad for whatever woman is in his life. Because we all want to be recognized. We all want people to pat us on the back and say, "You're doing a great job at your job," you know? And like stay-at-home moms don't get that. Allison, for most of the time, the father's not in the kid's life is a dad's choice. The courts are not just preventing most men from being around. Even men married to the mom barely interact with their kids. Yes. Okay. So are we bringing up court now? I'm sorry. I got so far back in the chat. Thomas, I live my life on his terms. My work schedule literally goes around their dad's. I let him prioritize his work, even though we are separated and I have a crappy, hostile, strict work environment. Allie, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I am married 15 years, Matt. Brian, all people do is praise fathers of any kind while demonizing all mothers, especially single mothers, right? Alexand, I don't know if you've seen any of my content, Allie, so I don't mean to be repetitive, but I said this to you. I'm like, and I acknowledge, like, I feel like this is fucked up of me to be like jealous of my husband, but I also get where it was coming from. I'd be like, why does he get praised for doing what I do? But nobody praises me. You know what I mean? Like my mom, other people, relatives would be like, "Oh, you're so lucky to have him. He cooks and he cleans and he's like a good dad and like takes the kids to the park." It's like I do all of that too. But nobody ever says good job. If you do have somebody in your life who is a stay-at-home parent, it recognize them. Tell them like, I know you don't get a lot of recognition. I know it also must be tough because of that. Um, Talk about is it respite or respite? It's respite, right? Because when I said it the other night, I said that in my live and I was like, I think you say that word that way. We all need respite. Yes, we all need a break. Yes, it's funny. You say you get a break from your hard job for 3 months out of the year. 3 months. What are you? No, you said wintertime. You're not a school teacher. Women or parents stay mostly women. I have never gotten a 3-month break since I started working. Can you wrap your head around that? Or is the misogyny just too ingrained in you to be able to empathize with another human being with a different experience than you? Because I have different sex organs. Like it is insane to me. I have not gotten one, okay, I have gotten a day off. I've not gotten more than a few days off, and those days off were, like, after surgery, that doesn't count. Seriously, the longest time off I've gotten from being a mother was after major surgery. Um, my dad my listen to me, my husband, we've been separated twice, once for 9 months, I don't really bring that part up a lot, that was before we had our 2nd kid, and once for 13 months. So, he's had whole almost 2-year-long break from being a dad, from having that once again, that was our choice, I'm not saying anything bad about him, I'm just saying this is what men get. Yes, he has worked more than me, he also has a lot more, like, in far like, he doesn't have a retirement anymore. But you know what I mean? Like most men, like they have more to show for it. You got paid. These guys act like they're roofers for nothing. Imagine being a roofer and not getting compensated for it. Are you starting to understand now? It might be physically less hard in like a brute strength kind of way, but it takes endurance. You don't get to call in sick. You have to take care of other people while they're sick, risk getting sick yourself. You have to step in and like whenever there's a need, whatever's going on currently in our country right now, it's the women stepping in the most. It's the women stepping in when their family members need help. And I know there's men out there too. Okay. So I don't mean to dismiss you. There's male caretakers out there too, and they don't ever get any credit ever. So I'm sorry if you're one of them. I don't want to ever make somebody feel like I think there's no such thing as a male caretaker. I know there is. And anyways, absolute toughest thing you can do is give your labor for free for a lifetime and then have people turn around and tell you you're lazy. You can't make this shit up. Um, I get 3 months off of my job. Okay. Oh, Pyramid. Hey, I'm glad you're in here. Um, we are not all that bad. I work at sea. My wife is at home with 2 babies. Month on, month off is mental jujitsu. Holly, I hear you. Having a difference in schedule like that, um, you just said you separate. This was years ago, Polly. We haven't separated in like 10 years. The first time was 18 years ago when our first one was a baby. That must be hard, Polly, and I do empathize with that. I empathize with everybody's situation. But from my view as somebody who has worked full time, like what a lot of people would consider hard jobs, but I've always been transparent. The longest factory job I had, it was easy as far as factory work, or else I wouldn't be able to do it for 2 years. I have three hernias. Like, give me a break. Um, oh my gosh, I'm totally losing my train of thought. There well, I'm empathizing with you, Polly. Yeah, to have a difference in your schedule must be difficult. You have a whole month off at a time. That's what I'm saying. Do you understand that, like, your wife doesn't and those dynamics play into burnt out often? That's why a lot of women, by the time they're in their 40s, they file for divorce. They just get burnt the fuck out. Once you give of yourself so much, and then, like, people are constantly telling you that you're not doing that much, but you know that you're the glue that holds everything together and is sustaining the whole family unit. At a certain point, a lot of women, especially when their hormones change in certain ways, it seems they just like cut out. So you guys need to be aware of that. All you men that seem to think that your wife's life is so easy now, like a lot of you seem to be around the same age. Just give it a few years. And I don't mean this as like a ooh, like I mean this like hopefully you do see it coming and it doesn't happen to you. But like you keep discrediting the hard work and the sacrifice that your wives do. And like imagine not getting a paycheck. You work the hard job you do because it feels good to be productive, right? It feels good to get that paycheck. It feels good to provide for your family, right? Being a mother and a caretaker is the same. The homemaker is the same way. Like it feels good to provide all those things that you're providing for your family, but and you're not going to get compensated. I don't think you necessarily should, but it that's what makes it, like, sting even more. I feel like the compensation should be that the general public should acknowledge this is a career, and it's unique in the way that nobody will get compensated for it, and you will dedicate your, maybe even most productive years to it. Maybe not necessarily, but aren't fathers giving by sacrificing family time off to go to work? Yes, I think that everybody sacrifices when they have a family, but a man would be working no matter what, right? If a woman didn't have a family at home, she would be off getting her retirement stacked up, making more money, maybe building equity and assets more too. And that's the difference. Like, no matter what, as a man, you have to work a job. We all do to survive, right? I'm 43 and she's 42. We have a 2 and 3-year-old girls. Oh, that's nice, Polly. Good for you. Oh, that's really nice. I get 2 weeks off a year, three if I put an insane amount of OT. Oh, and see, like then when I say that, I don't think anybody gets enough time off. See, I don't think anybody gets paid enough. So I don't want to come off as like a dismissive of other people's struggles either. But stay-at-home moms, Brian, family shares finances. I understand your point, but um, mm, they a man earning a full-time wage is his wage, you know? It's not the same for a woman. And hopefully you're paying into a retirement account. Women are sacrificing, and there's some people on the internet say that their husbands should be paying them. And I don't agree with that. And I made a video about that. I don't think that husbands should be paying their wives to stay at home with them because their pay is just to be able to stay at home, right? But I do understand why women are telling other young women to be careful and not to like, not work or have a way to make money because it's scary to rely on somebody else for all of your resources. That isn't easy. It's so admirable and important, but it's not a job. Don't have a kid if you don't want to be a parent. Primo, that's what I'm saying. I consider it a job, I consider it a career, but it is unlike any other job or career. It is, but it's constant work. Allie, no one said a guy's life is easy. We are simply saying a woman's life is hard. Can't have a moment without making it about you, like a child. Oh my gosh. I know. I sometimes I just go off a little bit too much, but it's in response to just like the constant. It's just like it's so emotional. We're called the over emotional ones. Man, I don't see anybody more emotional than the men on the internet that complain. There was a man that made a video about our hormone cycles, and he was being very empathetic. It was a good video by a good man, right? It was like some fitness guy. And I made a comment. I think I've told you guys this before. I said, being a woman is exhausting. How many words is that? Being a woman is exhausting. I said 5 words. I got dogpiled on so bad. I think it's the only time I ever deleted a YouTube comment because I was dogpiled on so bad. Within a half an hour, there was like 7 men at my throat. And like it's not like I was on if it's on some video, I could understand if it was like off topic and I'm like just in there being like boo-hoo. No, it was like this man was like empathizing with women and our hormones and what makes us different from week to week. And then like me saying that like offended men. They get offended when I say it's harder to be a stay-at-home parent than a full-time factory worker in auto manufacturing, in my opinion. A woman's life is hard sitting at home with Netflix. I don't have Netflix, clan. I don't have the internet. We live in Appalachia. I use my data on my phone for YouTube, if you can't tell. Brian, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I had nothing. I had to sell my car. He refused to re-register. I had to get him to buy me pads. He didn't leave my neighborhood for 10 months. Allie Sam said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Allie. I want to read the rest of your comments. How dare you talk about your wife like that? Men don't get snack breaks and nap times. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're supposed to get breaks at work. That's what I said in my video. Stay-at-home moms don't get breaks every 2 hours. We don't get lunch breaks every 4 to 5 hours for 30 minutes. We don't. We have to share all of our food if our kids awake. A lot of us do at least. Um, when I got off work, I had a few hours to myself. By the time I put my kid to sleep, I'm exhausted. Usually I'm in bed and like I do live sometimes lately. But I don't have hours before and after shifts. No, I don't. I wake up, it's like feet hit the ground, you're working as a stay-at-home mom most of the time. And it's just really interesting. That's what I'm saying. You clock in and out. There's no clocking out of being a mother. Why is this such a difficult concept to understand? You think that's funny, and I feel so bad for your wife. You're clearly abusive. You'll get your karma, Ali said. I can imagine the need for your own pocket money though, getting your nails done or whatever. If that's what you choose to do with it, but when people are controlling, like Ali Sand was saying, so many men are like financially abusive and controlling. And I said this in my life, telling women to only have babies with a man who can pay them to stay at home could lend to financial abuse. Oh my gosh. The men that are like waving money in front of you, like I can provide you this life, they're the kind of man. And I said that like there was this guy I dated who like was fighting the I've been honest about it before. It was a sugar babe situation, okay? I hate that term. But he was fighting his previous girlfriend's family in court to give them they wanted the car he bought for her and he's like they couldn't afford the taxes on that car. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's just so whatever you think that man is buying for you, he's like, the more money guys have, the more they know how to provide lifestyles for women and pull the rug out from underneath them. And like the more a man provides for you, the more likely he is to do that. The more likely he is to have lawyer money and do whatever he wants in court. So there's really no, I don't think it's good advice to like tell women to only get with men, to only have babies with men that have like such a disposable income. Um, I might have missed exactly what you're talking about. He's laughing after I called him abusive. I'm actually scared for his wife. Trolling or not, it's unacceptable. Yeah, it's just see, I don't wanna come off you go off to sea deal with 10-meter swells. You push a baby out of your genitals. I've ripped my genitals open 3 times, Polly. Have you ever ripped your genitals, having anything exit them? Tell me about it. Is your bladder never gonna be the same because of carrying 3 babies on it for almost 3 years straight, basically? Do you have any idea what it's like to get up every hour or 2 with a baby? Because I have a feeling you don't. I have a feeling you're one of those that's like, "I work, so that's the woman's job," and, like, didn't help out at all with the child rearing, and that's why you still don't get it because you couldn't do it, and this is what I said in my see, I need to just redo that because I made so many good points, I know I did. Becoming a mother is the biggest ego death you will ever have, and all of you need that. You need your egos to die. You are too full of yourself, too full of your own pride. If you really did honor and revere motherhood, you would see the awesome life that you've created with your wife, and you would see that all you have to do is go do some of the, I'm sorry, some of the same physical movements over and over again and make some money. And meanwhile, she's dealing with the growth and development of a whole human being or multiple human beings. There's so much more multifaceted than work. And like, see, I don't want to do this because I do think that we all need each other. I've made videos on the supply chain and blue collar workers, especially being underappreciated and undervalued. But you put me in this position where it's like, let's be real here, though. Let's be real. Would you do that for free? Would you do any labor for free? I don't think you would. I don't think anybody that calls stay at home moms lazy would do anything for free. You're so materialistic. You're so stuck in your own world, your own ego, and the materialism. Like you wouldn't do anything if you weren't paid a pretty buck for it. And then you turn around and like you have cognitive dissonance because we are so drastically different than you. And instead of honoring that and seeing that as like a cool thing that we are the closest thing to God on this earth, we literally give life and like we are the closest thing to God, and that's why you had to like turn around and take us out of it and make all religions these like oppressive patriarchal women just came from our rib type stuff because we are so powerful because we do so much. Everybody comes from women. We're XXXY. We are mitochondrial DNA. We are women. Like it's just that's why we have been oppressed for so long. Women are so important. Men deteriorate the older they get. Genetically, their hormones in a certain kind of way that's like the way women age and then their fertility stops, like one of three species on the planet, because we are so important to our communities. Our wisdom, we are needed. Mothers and grandmothers are so needed in a way that you can't say the same about men just because some of them picked up a hammer and some nails and built some stuff. I don't Yeah, I'm grateful for it too, but I also see it like men are the ones who poisoned and ruined the planet and are the reason why people are talking about colonizing Mars. Because the same planet men have built, they've also bastardized and absolutely destroyed. You guys have any idea what's going on with our topsoils? And that's why I was saying women think long term, men think more short term, and we're here to balance each other out. But the reason why the like men ruling the whole world is bad is because like they don't think in the long term clearly. um I wake up every morning and give birth on the toilet. FTW, I don't want to hear about anything unless you have two inguinal hernias. You have no idea what it is like on the toilet in the morning. I literally did it in my own mother's house for years. You are so out of touch with reality, Slim Jim. You did what in your mother's house for years? You did what? Um, Holly, I'm not even reading all of your comments, and like, I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I think it's clear as day. I'm the one triggering people in the comments. I don't get triggered. Every once in a while, if I do raise my voice or whatever, I'm like, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm mad because, like, I don't want them to think that like they did get one up on me. I am allowed to get on YouTube and say whatever the fuck I want. And it's the people, you're the one that's obviously triggered. I fell in love fan page because you're the one trying to call me out, keeps contradicting herself. It's the men who complain online are becoming like those feminists that they claim to hate so much, who take no accountability for anything in their lives. Guess what? Your whole life is yours. And if for some reason it led you here on a Sunday night where you're like arguing with a stay-at-home mom in Kentucky about why it isn't the hardest job, and that's not even the title of this live. I was just like, yeah, I made this live. This one guy that was like all like commenting on all of my stuff. I thought he was a big supporter of mine. Just like could not take it. I think there's like a lot of mothers that really have failed their children. So I know like some of it probably is hurt feelings that like I don't want to be triggering people in that way either. But like, I don't think all mothers are like just so great. But the misogyny is crazy. It's if you knew like me, if you knew how hard you worked and what you produced, you would be confident in it. You wouldn't try to prove anybody wrong. You would know there's billions of people out there, and one person being like, "Hey, I work harder than any of you guys because I've been doing this since I was 19 without a day off." Like, can any of you say that about any of your jobs? Oh wait, She can't help but bash men. It's in her genes. Allison, seriously, I want to know the point of all you grown men arguing with women about wanting to be treated decently. Yeah, I do too, Allison. That's why I make some of the content I do. And, I think the New York Times came out with an article recently. It was like showing how the tide is changing. Not only is like not obvious, but like more young, a third of the young men, I don't know what ages these young is considered, polled said that they don't believe women should have rights. And it was like so much fewer men in like our generation and older. The younger men are becoming more misogynistic. And it's clear with this like online rhetoric. And like, I don't have any better way to explain it, but they are jealous of the fact that we can give life. There's a great documentary on here. It's like this guy, this Middle Eastern guy, I should know his name. He talks about like the root of misogyny, and that's what it is men, whether or not it's subconscious, you don't sit there and literally think it, but like men for all of time have felt a certain way about women's life-giving abilities. And if you're a cool human being, you would see us all as connected and like you were put here now to be a man, and you would honor that, and you would think it's so cool that you get to share the planet with women, and like these women that can like literally do anything you can and give birth and sustain a baby outside of their body with their breast milk for years. Like that's freaking amazing. And um if you looked at it like that, it's not better than, it's like we're here to work together. We work in tandem together. Late stage capitalism has fucked with us all so bad, and social media is also a part of it. But I've been married for 15 years, Kevin. I was praising my wife and women. I watched my wife home births and pool in my kitchen in Ireland. Oh, that's cool. Your wife is from South Africa. Oh, that's cool, Polly. I've got a lot of Irish in me, and I home birthed my last baby. um, I don't understand how somebody can watch a woman give birth multiple times and still dismiss her role on this earth, though. Can you explain that to me? Is That was like a bonding experience that I feel like made us both like look up to each other more. We didn't accidentally. We gave birth alone because the midwife was on her way, right? We didn't want to be alone. We gave birth, it was just the two of us. And that was a really cool special moment. I'll never forget that moment. But see, I don't want anybody to feel like they don't do like it really is like that's what we're put here for. I'm just gonna say it. And when you work together like that and you really get each other, I don't know why you'd be on a random YouTube live ever trying to fight with another woman about her perspective. You know what I mean? You think you just get it. And if you think all men were, why are so many men so hurt with the fact that a woman would say it's harder to be a stay-at-home parent? Like, why is that hurt egos? Um, I have worked full-time jobs. I bet a lot of you couldn't work at the factory that I worked at. I bet you couldn't hang doing 410s, and maybe you could, but a lot of people couldn't. And you're a dumb American, Lewis. You're the one that's looking for a fight. I'm just sitting here. You're going from YouTube live to YouTube and you won't like get off of it. Men hate lying women. Well, that's a human. All a good human hates a lying human. All these things that you try to like, humans are humans. You could say the same of like there's bad men and women. They're like not all women lie. If you want to say like who tends to lie more, I would say I guess nobody said that. They don't want us to realize our power, and we are realizing it, and they are scared. Yeah, it has to be what's going on. Okay, so I got really interested in that, like women shouldn't be able to vote stuff because like it was fascinating to me. I'm 38 years old. I never thought that in my lifetime people would be walking around saying that women shouldn't be able to vote. And when I saw that being said by more and more people, that's when I was like, I need to start making YouTube content again. This isn't right. I have a video up like, and I don't like the title of it, okay? This is like, I understand where a lot of you are coming from. I unprivated this video. Please don't leave me if you're a woman. Don't leave me because I said this. I need women. It said how feminism has harmed us all. And it's basically like some of the talking points. Like, and I still like the points that I made in that video, but I don't like my title. I wish I hadn't titled it that. And I should change the title in the thumbnail. I can always do that, right? But it's like it's like the new wave, right? Like not, and I even said at the very beginning, I'm not talking about like the first few waves, like actually women actually getting rights. It's like this like divisiveness that's came onto the scene in the last like several years. I'm a mother of three sons, so I've seen radical feminists say things about like how we should like abort male babies and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's like good and bad people in every group, in every religion, career. They're just like you can't. That's what they want. They're trying to divide and conquer us. And you could. I don't want to play into that by saying that's not like women wouldn't act like this if there was a man that made a YouTube live. And I don't even have it in my title, but oh my god, when I did, it's like being a full time worker is harder than being a stay at home mom. There wouldn't be like a dozen women trying to prove the man wrong. Slim Jim, you can keep making your comments. I really don't care. You're just inviting more people into my life. You realize making comment after comment only puts my life in the algorithm more, right? So, like, I sincerely am interested in the topics I talk about, but the more I trigger people, the more I get new subscribers, the more possibilities I get, like memberships, people donating to me. You are helping me out by trying to make me feel stupid. You don't make me feel any sort of way. This is what being raised without a father does to your brain. I was raised by a PhD, Slim Jim, and my dad pimped me out. My dad's the reason why I was a sugar babe when I was 18, Slim Jim. That's what my dad did to me. Ugh, I literally was paying my own back child support. I paid all of our bills. He stopped working. He literally pimped me out. I paid my own back child support to my own mother from my dad. Um, yeah, and he has a PhD in a field where he should have been able to figure out how to have better relationships with people. And he was still a horrible person, a horrible father. And I would have been better off without him in my life. So yeah, you want to talk about being raised without a father. Um, I think that the absence of more good males is needed, but I don't think it's necessarily. I was happy when my parents got divorced when I was younger. She only has 2,000 subs. How many subs do you have, Truth is Strange? I have a feeling you don't have any more than that. You and I are raising three boys each, and there will be six men in the world not insulting women in the comments on a Sunday night and instead being in loving relationships with successful careers. Yes, Allie, I love that. Allie, that is the greatest comment all night. Um, yes, like my middle son, he considers himself a Christian, and he was like all disappointed and surprised when he found out women aren't allowed to be heads of churches in Christianity. This has been a few years, but he was like, "What? What? Why? What? Wait, why? What?" I could tell he was like, "What the fuck?" And that made me proud. And yeah, there's plenty of moments, plenty of times. I'm sure you've had those moments, Allie, or I don't know how old your kids are. You will eventually, where like like in real time, you're like, "Yes, I have done my job well," you know? And I like could you imagine if men had periods? Could you imagine if men this is really gonna trigger you. Could if you guys bled 15% of your adult lives, I think the whole world would revolve around that fact. I think there'd be like period stations outside of every public bathroom. I think that men would get time off work every month for their periods. I think men would get excused from school for their periods. I think there'd be a lot more medicines on the market for the periods. I think people would actually understand and listen to the pain and not be like, oh God, you're just exaggerating that. I think there'd be a lot more help for gynecological conditions if men had them. And yeah, and I think there'd also be a lot of gross stuff going on if men bled 15% of their lives. But yeah, that's that's another thing. That's like Truth is Strange. Oh, you're so sweet. Going after my fine lines and wrinkles. How original. What are you gonna say next? I have a big nose. I have white hair. I have small boobs. What else? You're having a meltdown. Take a breath and understand we as men don't care, period. But you do because you're in here writing a comment, engaging with my YouTube live, causing more people to find it, David. I've never done this before. I am so like my no, I guess I have decent motor skills. That's not true. Why is she crazy? Because you disagree with her? And yeah, and whenever like somebody no, you don't bleed 15% of your adult lives. No, you don't. You don't have, organs that do that, and if you did, you might actually be more masculine. You might actually be able to, like, suck it up and, push through, because that's where we get it from. A lot of women go through a lot of pain. I need to check on my dog. A lot of women, because of their medical issues, it's taught them that come here, that life is gonna be hard, and, it is what it is, and we're just, like, resigned to a lifetime of freaking pain and misery, and I think it's obvious a lot of you guys aren't. Um, we have a guest. We have a sidekick. Somebody's trying to tell me something. It's time shit. It's time to take my dogs out. Yeah, he just farted. I don't know. Rocco, Rocco, say hi. Say hi. Say hi, YouTube. Oh, you got eye boogers. He had a few surgeries on his eyes. So every once in a while, I don't know why getting the glands cut out would make him do that, but he just woke up and he came walking around looking for me. Aw. Okay, I'm gonna read a few more comments, and I might get back on here after I walk them because I'm having fun. Children need fathers. Don't listen to this lady. Why did I ever say children don't need fathers? No, okay. This is what I meant. If the father isn't a good person, they're better off with just good masculine, good male. I don't mean masculine, good male role models in their lives. Um, I don't think that like stay with the kids just to stay together and just so they have both parents is like good advice. And that's where I was coming from with that. Ideally, kids have their dad in their lives, yeah, but the problem is there's so many men. If women committed over 90% of violent crimes, come on, you guys would never shut up about it. So do you imagine, Ali Sand, if we committed over 90% of violent crimes, that's all any of you would talk about is like the bane of society is women. They commit so much chaos. They're the reason why we all are scared to be out at night, men and women alike, because the women, 91% of crime is committed by those horrible women and we're like victims to all of the bad women, right? Like but like even so, I still don't look at all men as like horrible, abusive, aggressive people. And it's funny to me. I feel like that's how men do look at women because yes, there are some women that are over emotional, can't act right, out of control, they just like emote. Most women don't like being out of control of their emotions. Most women do learn how to be good, whole, healthy people because they want to. They're not like out of control of themselves. And I'm just like if you're like in your full grown man and I trigger you that much, I mean it with all my heart. I don't think you have that many fulfilling things in your life and you need to like get some more things that fulfill you that make you happy to the point where life isn't all about being happy, but you know what I mean, content enough that like nothing anybody said on the internet could trigger you to make you want to like lash out at them and change their opinion, which is it's fine with me if you want to like make all the comments and acid burn. Hey, acid burn, will you make a comment on one of my videos, please? I want to subscribe to you. And I can't find you. Um if you could like comment, you know what I mean, in the comment section, not this chat, I would really appreciate that. How are women oppressed in today's society? Want to be NFL? Well, in America, I think it's like social. We have equal rights legally, but all over the world, our rights are slipping. We have sisters in countries like Afghanistan and wherever else. They're losing their rights. They are definitely oppressed. And that's why we all need to be aware of that. When men here start talking about how we shouldn't be able to vote, I really don't think they're going to rescind that right ever. They're not. But it's scary to me and it's part of why I speak up and say all the things that I do. And I will keep saying things like this. I am a fair person, you guys. Like I said, I don't believe in the wage gap in the way that a lot of feminists explain it. Men make more money because they work more hours, they work jobs that make more money. It would be illegal to pay a man less than it would be to pay me. So I don't believe that, but I understand where people are coming from, but it's not like men's fault that they make more money because we tend to be pregnant and stuff. But anyways, there's certain nuances. I'm very much so a centrist. I welcome all people's opinions. I've gone back and forth with people that think I shouldn't be able to vote very respectfully. I want to say whoever recommended that I read this book, I think he thought I shouldn't be able to vote. Look, I went and bought a book that he recommended. I think we're all here for a reason, and we all cross paths with certain people for a reason. And yeah, I'm like very, very open-minded. Claiming you're oppressed when you literally don't have to leave the house to maintain your shelter and food is wild logic. Um, well, when you have people that literally think you're less physically strong, once again, I'll give you that, less intellectually capable, less hardworking, less smart, less funny, less in literally every single way, you are by default somewhat oppressed, I would say. It's true. When a man is mad at a woman, it's all of society's problem, you know? When a woman becomes depressed and is like mad at her situation with men, she just like works on herself and sticks, to her community, builds friendships and a life. Alexand, I get to turn the screen off and you won't be my problem ever again. Don't have to worry about what is in a man's phone. I get to climax in less than 45 minutes. Life is great. Alexand, I hope you subscribed because I like talking to you. I am going to go. I feel pretty awake. I do think I want to get back on here and but I wanted to my last live was so good. There was like a few points that I wanted to write down and make notes. I don't know, it might be like 20 or 30 minutes. But you guys, once again, like I really don't I don't want to make anybody's life harder. This is the whole point of the content that I make is to connect with other mothers like Allie. I hope it's okay if I call you Allie. Allie, that just came out. Um, Yeti, I consider myself a feminist, not a radical feminist, not like one of the newest new waves of feminists that think that like no woman should have a baby ever again. Like the most radical feminists wouldn't agree with me because I'm married and I wear makeup. But yeah, I would consider myself a feminist in that I feel like women's rights are important. I honestly, like I said, I have a video on my channel that's how feminism harmed us all. Because like 7 years ago, I was falling for more of the red pill stuff. That was back when men were like, "Oh, they yell at us and we hold the door open for them." And I'm like, "Oh, I have three sons. That's so horrible. They yell at you when you just holding the door open for them. How awful." I'm from Kentucky. Oh, I was watching a YouTuber today where he was talking about how nice Kentuckians were and how great Kentucky was. It was great. I clipped it. I'm gonna make it into a shorts. But anyways, um, yeah, I I don't get on here like just to I know I have a big mouth and I don't have a filter and I really do have thick skin. So I'm perfect for this. I really am. But I'm not trying to make men mad. I'm really not. If anything, for your wife and your children's sakes, I don't want to make people angry or mad at the world. If somebody does trigger you like that, you are the only one in control of your emotions. If anything that I said is like really like making you feel a certain way, then you should analyze that and like figure that out because that is proof that everything I said about men being jealous of women, the men that do act like that, the men that are extremely misogynistic, it's because they feel threatened at the fact that there is something we can do that you will never be able to do. There's a lot, but you know what I mean? Mainly give life. And like, because everything has to be a competition for them, instead of just being like I said, like we get to share our lives with other human beings, and they happen to be the humans that like create life. That's freaking amazing. Their bodies are amazing. I have the shorts on my channel, these fitness people, where she's talking about how she can never lose the fat on her lower tummy. And he's like, that's not fat, that's your uterus. You don't have as much room in your abdomen. When you have food in your gut, your uterus pokes out more. And he's like, and that's the most advanced, amazing part of the human body. All of you guys in chat that are talking crap about being a mom and stuff, if you could have an attitude more like him, it would serve you better. Your every cell in your body would be happier and healthier if you could get these horrible thoughts out of your head that like we're all on the same team. We're all human beings. We really are. And I think we've been admiring you and what you can do that we can't do, which is basically just the brute strength stuff. Let's be real, because we can do absolutely everything else that you can do. It's when a man does something like that. I love seeing my husband chop wood. We lived off grid for almost a year. I love seeing that man do stuff like that. You know, I worry for him. I don't want him breaking his body down, you know what I mean? But it's like, we have been admiring and adoring your physical strength for all of known time. All right. When you can start admiring and adoring what we bring to the table, like really sincerely appreciating, then maybe we can turn the ship around. Then maybe we can narrow the rift in between men and women. But until then, we're just going to continue to evolve in this like horrible late stage capitalism system that we're all victims to. But we seem to be thriving a little bit better. I know there's like there's some things out there like, oh, women are unhappy. But then you hear like the happiest people are women. I don't, I'm gonna get back on here in a little while, guys. Is misandrous that I don't want to date men? What in the lack of consent is that? Um, Alison, you really think you own us if you think our celibacy is about misandry, which again is why I do it. My body is mine. Right, Allie? Oh my gosh. Yes. And I think that as a mother, I really respect any mother that decides to stay out of the dating game and concentrate on her kids because they're only kids for so long, you know? And and no woman would tell a man that he's selfish for not dating or having kids. Women get told they're selfish for not dating or having kids. Why is that? Because you depend on our free labor so much. It's just a given because we do. We just give, give, give. And then because it is so important, you have to neg it down. Oh, well, it's easy. I could do it when I'm off my job, my hard job, when I'm off of it for 3 whole months. That sounds like a real hard job. Um, I could do it and it's easier. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no. Um, her poor husband. My husband is awesome and he is not poor at all. The rich men and women work together. That's why they're successful, not like us bickering. Well, everybody's in different situations, but like I've said before, yeah, we're almost debt free. We've lived off one income for a long time. I'm very proud of the decisions we've made. From the outside looking in, a lot of you probably would look down on me because I live in a double wide. But we have a lot of beautiful experiences and memories on top of being debt free. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Dude, you're spending this entire stream hating on two women, but you're accusing me of spreading hate, more projection. Sebastian, Allie, no, you don't have to date men. It's being a misandrous to assume all men are narcissistic. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I don't want to say like men are so incredibly selfish, and this is proof of it. Every one of my live streams is proof that men are exceedingly selfish. And if you're not one of those men, I'm sorry because like it must suck to be one of the good ones because there just are so many bad ones, so many bad examples of men. Um, if you're mentally unstable, I don't know. I think Allie opting out of dating is probably the most mentally stable thing a person could do. And yes, I I'm getting to the point where like I used to believe misandry was a thing. I don't even think misandry is possible. You guys have such a leg up and you like automatic until women aren't looked down as less than like automatically by default. It's like um, what can I compare it to? Gosh, I can't even think of a comparison. Um, can't think of one. My God, I was dating men exactly like you who love to gaslight energy vampires. I rebuke you. I actually saw this short. So this woman was doing a ritual, and like I've said, I've like stayed away from like candle magic, and I was like, I just thought I was like, maybe I need to start burning some candles and doing some prayers again. I don't know. I just stayed away from it for a while, and now I'm getting back to like it's not. Same with reverse racism because it's the same privilege barrier. I say this as a woman of color. Ali Sand, okay. I see this. So this is how I look at racism, but I do understand where you're coming from. I do. And racism is looking at somebody and thinking anything different of them because of the color of their skin. So in my opinion, I think it can go either way, but I understand what you're talking about with the power dynamics and like because I would even consider racism looking at a black guy and thinking he might be good at playing basketball. You know what I mean? Of course that's not malevolent. You know what I'm trying to say? But it's like you're just assuming anything about somebody because of the way they look, like something they can't help. That is racist. But yeah, I think I made a video, oh my gosh, I'm totally against racism. I made a video about the all-white community in Arkansas, and now they're talking about putting one in Tennessee. Of course, they were too cowardly to show their faces, people covering their faces completely, talking about, like, this little town. I honestly don't think that would fly here in Kentucky. Any Kentuckians agree with me? I don't think if somebody tried to start an all-white community, that would be okay here, and I hope it wouldn't be okay, and it disturbs me how many people think that that's okay. Well, as long as they're paying their taxes or whatever. Anyways. No, not if she finds somebody good enough for her and the children, but you can't trust the children with a stranger because young girls are just so promiscuous that you can't leave them alone. Young girls, acid burn, don't disappoint me. If a young girl is promiscuous, that's not her fault. That's how I look at it. Any child, but is a young girl. The biggest threat to a child is a non-biological male in the house. That's the truth. Men are the biggest threat to all of us. Imagine growing up in a world where like you're just like victimized by men and then turned around and told that you shouldn't be able to vote, but they should be able to. But you see it for what it is, and you see how like we're all victims to the same oppressive men. And it's like the hierarchy, that's how it plays. And women, same thing. Misogynistic women do the same thing. They're just trying to be in proximity to power. And yeah, it's always a matter of time till somebody, like, calls my teeth yellow. I don't care, I'm almost 40 years old. People don't have bright highlighter white teeth naturally. Caucasian people, the dentin layer in their teeth is, like, yellow, and your enamel shows that more the older you get. I really don't care what anybody says about me. Anybody that says anything negative about my looks, I know you guys would probably want to look like me if you could. Whatever you look like, if you do have some great bright white smile, you're not like on the internet trying to like tear down somebody else's smile. You know what I mean? Why are y'all concerned about her looks and teeth? You're not her husband, so why are you so pressed? He's the one who has to lay down with her. He clearly loves her. What's the issue? Why is she starting any community based solely on something uncontrollable like race or sex allowed? Yeah, I don't think it should be wanna be. That's what I was saying. You are a beautiful Southern belle. Thank you, change. Girl, I don't pay that no mind people on the are ignorant. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, no, totally. I like my teeth after everything I've been through. I want to get this teeth fixed, like that. See that little stuff there, and it's like no, I can't get any dentist to do it. And like I do wanna get a better camera, better lighting. I think I'll be like she's all once I get a better setup because I'm not just saying this. I think I look worse like here than I do like putting my makeup in the bathroom because I'm like all up in your face. My nose looks bigger. Like I swear you don't see my wrinkles as much in real life, but like I also don't care. And that's what I'm saying. Once I do get a better setup, then it'll be like a glow up. It'll be like, whoa, look at Lydia, look at her. You know what I mean? And but yeah, it's the same thing. I was at work, I always wore my glasses, and then this guy came over. He was gay. My work friend who was gay came over to my house and he was like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. Why don't you do this for work?" And I was like I had my hair down, my contacts in, and I was and eyeliner and stuff. And I was like, because I don't care about like looking pretty at work. And he just we're not friends anymore because of how much he ragged on my looks. I'm not kidding. He would, like, bring up my looks so much. Okay, I really need to go. And what's it to you is how she looks. Her body's not doing anything wrong by existing. Because we're literally tools. When you see a woman, your brain lights up in one or two areas where you see tools or objects, as opposed to a man where your brain's lighting up all over the place because you're taking in all these certain data points about all these different things about this person. So whole human beings are complicated. And like, and you see a woman, like you literally zero in on like what you like or you don't like about her, like a literal art piece, because we are, but you know what I mean, like an object, which we aren't. And I have a video about that too. It's but literally been proven with brain scans. And that's so we've been proven with brain scans that women too, this isn't just men, a lot of women see women as objects. And Noah, that is so sweet of you. Thank you so much for thank you. I really appreciate it. My dog is farting really bad and I have to go, guys. I will be back on soon. I will be back on really soon. Okay. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you, Noah. I hate to go. And